All right. Let's see here.
All right. Are we live?
We got lots of people chatting already over on YouTube, I see.
Oh, wonderful. I'm going to do a little refresh on Facebook and get that going too.
Mom.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with the Facebook.
Facebook is always changing something.
I know. They love to
keep us on our toes.
Right.
Yes,
they're trying
Let's
to keep
see
us.
here.
Oh, all right. Are we live? Uh-oh.
I think, is that you, right, Kelly? Chatting already over on YouTube, I see.
I know. Wonderful. Guys, I'm going to do a little refresh on.
Are you seeing us on Facebook yet, Kelly? I think you muted yourself, but not your computer sound. Oh, good. Nope, that's an old one. Let's see.
All right. I'm so sorry, guys. I had major technical difficulties.
So there's Kelly. I can hear her now.
Okay, there we go. Finally.
I see us on YouTube, but I'm not seeing us on Facebook.
I'm not either yet. Well, bear with us, you guys, and we're gonna get this going. We'll get Facebook going too.
You know what? I'm just gonna.
Just a hi from Coral Gables, and my grandmother lives in Coral Gables.
I was just checking to make sure I didn't accidentally put it on my Facebook, which I didn't.
There's a lot of people saying hi.
Kelly, if you want to just maybe chat with the comments you can see on YouTube for a second, I'm just going to look at a couple things. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure I can fix this once we're live.
Okay. Well, we could always jump on and off, maybe. Oh, someone says they say, hi, Miles is here. Here, Miles is here. We'll put our camera down so everyone can say hi. Yeah. Miles went to Tinkergarten today, and so he got to play with kids. Yeah, and what else? Dirt? What else do you play with? Rocks?
That sounds fun.
You want to get down, kiddo? Yeah. Yeah? I think so, huh?
Stickers.
You want stickers? I mean, who doesn't?
Do we have any?
I think everyone here in the comments would agree that they want stickers as well.
And the purple.
Oh, the purple ball, and you need stickers. As you guys can tell, he has been being raised in the crafty ways. He loves his stickers. And he calls a tape runner a sticker maker, which is really sweet.
All right. I am not seeing us over on Facebook. So, and I don't know how to fix that while we're live. So,
okay.
If I think Shari is doing Facebook comments, could she maybe do a Facebook post and link the YouTube video for us? Does that work?
Should we do that or should we restart, Jen?
I don't think restarting is going to work, Kelly, because these were unique URLs and that's going to change them. And those have already gone out. Do you see? So if we could just, if you just link the YouTube video in a post over on Facebook, I think people will easily be able to find us.
Yes, that's a good idea. The other thing we could, well, that might be difficult to update the webpage right now. We could also maybe put it in Instagram stories as well to go find us over at YouTube.
That would be great. Sorry, you guys.
I was so sorry about that. There's, Facebook it's keeping us on our toes.
Honestly, that Facebook changes stuff so frequently, I just can't sometimes. People were telling me the other day that my stories weren't going from Instagram to Facebook anymore, and I hadn't changed anything. And come to find out there was like a new button to toggle on Facebook. So they just change stuff all the time. Oh, good. Amarita couldn't find us on Facebook. She came here. Yay.
Oh, good. Well, we're going to get
you guys so much.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience with us and all your sweet comments for Miles. He was excited. He wanted to see. He's like, I want to see.
Awesome. Yay. Well, thank you guys. Sorry for that little little rough start.
I know. Jen and I both get very overwhelmed when the technology doesn't work. So
Yeah, I just don't. You try to plan so far ahead and get things all organized, and it just doesn't work out that way sometimes.
someone put a
Um,
heart eye emoji on the idea of Lawn Fawn stickers. If you are like an OG Lawn Fawn fan, we used to have stickers back in the day. We had alphabet stickers, and then we had like little labels and things like that. It's been a long time.
I remember that. I think that was when I first started playing
I
with
loved
Lawn
the
Fawn.
alphabet stickers. Yeah, they're really fun.
Yay. Thank you guys. I see all your comments. Thank you so much. Sorry again for the little bumps along the road, but you know what? It's all good because we
Yes.
are here for Lawn Fawn Create with us. If you guys are new to this adventure of Kelly and I, we started doing this because we missed hanging out together. We used to always see each other at trade shows and stuff throughout the year. And so we thought, what not better to hang out together, but also invite all of you guys to hang out with us as well. And so these Create With Us's are free mini classes. We tend to release the details for them around the release of new products. And they're just to inspire you, give you guys some ideas for the new stamp sets maybe you purchased, and most importantly, to get some ink on those stamps and get them loved. So you guys can go ahead and create along with us. We always put a handout up on the website ahead of time so you guys can get your prep ready. There's coloring guides. I know, I believe it's Rebecca commenting on YouTube. She'll put a link to the Create With Us website. And and if you're not creating along with us today, that is totally okay. We are going to chit chat and have fun and shake off the technology gremlins and just have a fun afternoon together. Yeah, I feel like you need to shake it off. Shake it off.
I know, we got to shake it because it is. I think this has only happened to us one other time, Jen, and ironically, we were talking about it like 2 days ago.
I know. Maybe, no offense, I hope maybe this is getting it out of our system.
I hope so too. Maybe the internet gremlins have come out. It's once a year, and this is the one maybe. Well, we're going to make sure that we're putting some comments, posts on Facebook. I don't know if either Rebecca or Shari could get into Instagram stories and maybe post something there too. Would be really great. So maybe Shari can do that.
I think Shari can. Even just a text post would be amazing because I'm sure Shari is like, I am not going on camera right now.
Yeah. Just do something text and quick, and it can have the link to our YouTube live, and then everyone will be able to find us over here. Like I said, we appreciate your guys' patience. And someone says that they had a total anxiety attack when they could not find us on Facebook. Same.
We were having the same panic attack when we couldn't find ourselves on Facebook.
Yes, although I am really glad that we have both Facebook and YouTube going because it's like having a little backup.
Yeah. Well, and Rachel says no worries because she's still trying to clear off her craft desk. So she sounds just like me. Go, Rachel. Get all that stuff out of there. Just go like this.
Yeah, Rachel. You don't want to see around here.
Just go like this. Oh.
That's how I film each video. And then you start a new one and you just go and it all piles up.
Awesome. Yay. All right. And also, if this is your first Create With Us, I just want to let you guys know all the previous Create With Us mini classes, all the handouts are available and replays to the videos. So definitely it's a great resource again to, we just want to inspire you guys to be able to make some cards and have some fun. And I know sometimes coming up with the idea from start to finish can be really overwhelming. So it's just nice to look at a picture, look at the instructions, and just play sometimes, because sometimes our brains are fried.
Yes. And I saw someone mentioned that they don't have this specific stamp set, so they're going to use Jump for Joy. And that is such a great idea. So if you don't have this stamp set, that's okay. Like you could do the same techniques with us. You can play around, play along with us. We could all craft together and your cards are going to be gorgeous.
And I'm also seeing lots of comments about the sweatshirts. And for the first time, Kelly, what can we say?
I know we actually have sweatshirts available. You guys,
Nobody can ask me when they're coming, but
they're
here.
finally here. We know that you guys have been waiting very patiently for a long time. We have 3 different styles. Both Jen and I are wearing the hoodie style, pullover hoodie, and then Rebecca's going to come over here and show you model our crew neck.
This is the
Super
crew neck.
cute.
And then we also have a zip up hoodie as well.
Which I also
and
have.
I have to say that you have to check out the website, and I'm sure Rebecca's going to link the links for you, because the team here at Lawn Fun headquarters had a fun time modeling these, and there are some pretty funny pictures. And funny enough, guess who got into the sweatshirt modeling the most? It was the guys.
I love it.
You got to go check out the photos, because there's some really funny ones. And we had some pretty good models. We set up lights and took pictures, and it was super cute. So you guys are going to definitely have to check that out, because it'll definitely give you a smile to see all the guys loving their modeling debut.
Yay. And somebody just mentioned that their absolutely awesome stamp set was just delivered 10 minutes ago. Talk about timing. That's
That
good.
is perfect. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and somebody's putting together 50 jack-o'-lantern tiny boxes for an assisted living facility for Halloween, which is incredible.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Oh my gosh, I bet they're gonna love it. That's amazing.
So Rebecca's sweatshirt was gray. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then
yes.
the one that Kelly and I are wearing is navy.
Yeah, and then maybe
go
Rebecca,
grab
if you
one.
go grab a zip up so we can show
And
it.
the zip up is also gray, right?
Different grade.
It's a
Okay.
different shade. Yeah,
I have
and
one. I
someone's
just
saying
haven't
that
worn it yet.
they said the models help them buy the right size. I'm so glad. I know it's always so hard. We tried to put the heights, and then we realized that the Lawn Fawn office is like 5'8" and up. We're a tall office. So. Oh, it's a different blue for the zip up.
I'll put a sweatshirt over a sweatshirt.
Yeah, there you go. It's also 88 degrees outside here.
Yeah. So,
Let's see.
and whoever this is.
Oh,
is
that's right. That's right. It's a different blue.
So,
Yeah,
And
it's
then
like
you
a
have-
dustier blue.
wrong side.
Yeah, you can kind of see the
Yeah, it's a
comparison.
dustier, and ours is more
Yeah.
like a navy.
And then you can see the gray difference.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the zip.
It was a good idea for me to model this.
Super cute.
You look amazing.
Thanks,
double
Rebecca.
long.
All right. So we are gonna get started. And so I am going to flip the screen and hopefully do this correctly. You know, now the fear is there. The fear is there. All right. Yay. Good. So these are the 2 cards that we're going to be creating today. And I just think that they are so fun. We're going to be using the fall leaf background stencil, which I don't think we did use this. It came out last year, but I don't think we used it last year in a Create With Us. So, but I know it was super popular. So I thought it would be fun to bring. I always love to bring old with new and, you know, all that jazz. And so I am going to be using Copic markers, and as part of the handout, I always share a swatch list of the colors that I'm using. And this is just to help you if maybe you don't have R20, maybe you have R11 or a similar color, or maybe you're using a whole different coloring medium completely, which is totally fine. You can at least see what these colors look like and maybe find something similar with what you guys will be coloring with today. On your handout, you do have coloring guides, and I'm going to be following along with those coloring guides as I am coloring with you guys today. And these are all resources that I also offer in all of my online classes. So people have been really loving the online classes. They feel like they're improving their coloring skills and making lots of cards and just having a blast. So we love offering these. And again, I love offering my online classes too.
Yes.
Right.
And the online classes are awesome and so much fun. And you actually have 3 online classes right now, which is
I
really-
do. Wicked Fantastic. That's actually a self-paced online class. So all of the information for that released yesterday. Excuse me. And then we're doing Awesome Autumn. So we're going to be using this stamp set in my online class. And then we're doing Furry and Bright, which is using the Ugly and Bright stamp set, which we'll also be using in a Create With Us class. So it's giving you guys even more ideas with the supplies that maybe you already have. All right, these mice are up to some more fun, you guys. And I just love this stamp set. I grew up in New Hampshire, and for those of you guys that don't know, I am on Cape Cod. So I'm on the East Coast. Kelly's over on the West Coast. But I grew up in New Hampshire, and there's literally an apple orchard on every corner. And so I just loved when this set came out. It just really reminded me of my childhood, and I just love it so much. All right.
And fun fact, I have never been apple picking before. I've stamped it though.
It's funny because being on Cape Cod, I don't think there's any apple orchards actually on Cape Cod. I could be wrong. I saw Jackie Hart is watching, and I know she's on Cape Cod. She might know the answer to that. But mostly the apple orchards near the Cape, they get picked out. And I've never heard that term before in New Hampshire because there are so many apple orchards. But here, there aren't as many. And so many people go there, they get picked out really early in the season and there's no apples left. So it was just a crazy term that I never knew about until I moved here.
That happens to the orchard here in California because there's not many of them.
Yeah.
So if you have to go like the first weekend they're open, otherwise there's nothing.
Yeah, and we all know the first weekend of like September, I'm not ready to fall yet. I'm still mermaiding. So I haven't been apple picking in a long time because of that. All right, so we're going to get into coloring, and I'm going to color my little mice first. And my approach to coloring with Copic markers or alcohol-based markers is a real simple approach, but I think it's a really fun approach, and I think anybody can be successful with it. And so I'm going to actually start with the dark color first. So I'm going to start with E33. And we're going to add the shadow. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. We're going to add the shadow to the little mice first, and then we'll go ahead and blend that out. So I'm starting with the E33. And the little mouse that's holding the apple, I'm going to shadow him on the left side so that we're not shadowing that apple or the front part of his face. So I'm going to do a little half circle around the top of his head, go up into his ear a little bit on his back ear, and then I'm going to do a thin line along his left side. And then a little bit under his belly, and that right foot is just going to be all E33. E33 has to be one of my most used browns, and I just treated it to a brand new Copic nib, which makes me so happy because it's nice and like perfect. You don't realize until, you know, you
change it. I kind of think this one needs changing.
Yeah.
It's funny, we've been having some really hot weather here, and we were saying we think it might have affected our markers a little bit, and some of them need new nibs.
Huh. That's interesting.
I know, right? We don't know if it's just like the extreme dryness we have here.
I think it's the dryness.
Yeah.
I want to put a humidifier in the room.
Linda said
it's all about, because she's a plant lady. She's got all the plant things.
Linda Wooldridge said, in Florida, we pick our apples at Publix.
Yes, I have definitely gone apple picking at Publix. So.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it.
Well, I joked because I was like, I've cut down sugarcane with a machete before. So does that count? My grandpa always had sugarcane in the backyard.
There is nothing like pulling an apple off a tree and taking a bite of it, like right there. Granted, now you need to like, you know, make sure you wipe it because of pesticides and stuff. But growing up as a kid, we didn't worry about that stuff.
Oh my gosh. It's definitely an item on my list. I have to take Miles. I think he would like it.
What am I doing?
So we're going to do the shadow on the little mouse with his overalls. And so I'm going to shadow the right side of his head, just a little half moon, a little bit on his ears. And then I'm going to do his armpits. And you guys might be hearing Mr. Harley in the background. He is hunting. For those that don't know, Mr. Harley is my cat who is 14. I have 3 kitties, but he's the most vocal. And he's bringing me a treat.
I'm laughing because Miles was like making noise in the background earlier, and now Harley's taking over the job.
Yeah. Harley.
Miles
Hey.
Miles went with Dad for, a hopeful nap. We'll see.
I don't know. Sometimes Harley thinks like if Chris leaves the house, he's alone. But I'm like, I'm here. Like I'm still here. All right. So I did the right side of his head, and I did a little bit on his little armpit on the left, armpit on the right. And then I just did a little bit on like his chest above the overalls and on the right of the strap. And then his little feet are just going to be all E33 because I'm not crazy. I'm not. We don't need to do 2 colors on that.
I went crazy, but I regret it because I went outside the lines.
Ooh, white gel pen, white gel pen.
Yes, white gel pen for sure.
So then I'm going to blend out with E21. Thank you guys for saying hi to Mr. Harley. So we're going to blend out with E21. And so I'm going to concentrate right on the edge of the E33. And I'm just doing little dabs to saturate the cardstock so I don't see a line from my previous color anymore, from that E33. But I'm not coloring his whole face. I'm just concentrating anywhere that we did shadow right on the edge of that shadow. So even his teeny little ears, I'm still trying to leave some white space. I'm going to go down the left side of him. And again, I'm working on the one where he's holding his apple. He already bit into his apple. He knows where it's at.
He did the straight off the tree biting the apple thing.
Yep. And so once that is done, I'll continue with the E21 and just fill in the rest of him one layer. You don't want to keep going over and over if you are using an alcohol-based marker because that's going to make it get darker and darker. And you'll kind of lose that true light source. So I just do one layer. And since this is a lighter color, like these browns are pretty light, I'm going to go quickly back in with that E33. And I'm just going to add a little bit more in around his face, around the bigger areas, just to bring in that definition again. While your cardstock is still wet from blending, you can kind of do that and not have to do a ton of blending again, but it brings that definition back in. And I do that a lot with yellows and oranges and really light pinks as well. Super cute.
Someone is asking if we will be making more hot foil plates.
Yeah, I answered that.
You did. Okay, so we will be making, there's another hot foil plate for our Valentine's release, which is in mid-December, and it's in Rebecca's hands. And there are hot foil plates being designed for springtime, which is our February release.
And that's going to be amazing, but the spring ones.
I'm excited for the spring ones. Yeah.
The Valentine's one is a
You almost said what it is.
It's a necessity, but
yes.
The spring ones are.
But yes, so we are coming out with more hot foil, and every release will have, like a Valentine's is a smaller release, so we'll have 1, and then for spring we'll have 2 to 3.
That's so cute. So I just blended out the second mouse, and then now I'm going to do the one layer.
There's also a comment that Mr. Harley really just wants one of the mice that you're playing with.
Probably on it. Well, yeah, I mean, he's an indoor cat, but the apartment I lived in when I first got Mr. Harley did have a mouse. I didn't know this until I had Mr. Harley, and he did catch it for me. So, so there we go. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's good that I got you.
Someone is asking what weight cardstock you're using, Jen.
So I'm using the 80-pound Nina Solar White cardstock, which is the Lawn Fawn White 80-pound cardstock as well. That's what Lawn Fawn packages in their 80-pound white cardstock pack. So it's the Nina Solar White. I'm wanting to put an R at the end of that word for some reason. I don't ever really use the 110-pound cardstock personally, but mainly that's just because that's one more thing for me to have to keep organized and keep separate, the 80-pound and the 110. And so I don't, but I know some people use the 110 as well.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I always use the 80 and I don't really have any 110 around, but I know it does work for people for coloring and stamping, but yeah. I think Jen and I are similar that way.
Just try to keep it simple. So while we have that E21 out, I'm going to actually color the ladder, and I didn't do any blending. We're just coloring. because I think it's good for us to remember we don't always have to overcomplicate things. So this is just, you could use the E33 as well. You could use a different brown. I always try to keep the amount of supplies that we're using in these classes, not like a crazy long supply list. So I think it's nice to kind of see different things you could do with the same colors. All right. So now let's talk about our apple barrel and our sign. And I have a fun little way for us to make them both look like wood. So I'm actually going to take out another piece of cardstock, and if you have just a scrap piece of cardstock, maybe from your die cutting for class, this might be helpful for you to do this little practice before we get going on actually coloring our images. Of course, you guys kitted your own projects, so if you have to, stamp and die cut some more apple barrels and signs, you can. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the E37 marker, and I have the square Copic originals, but I have changed my broad tip to be a brush tip, which I'm assuming most of you guys out there have your sketch markers, the oval ones, with the brush tip as well. So with that brush tip, what I want you guys to do is practice getting really thin lines. And the way that I can do that is I don't hold my marker very tightly, which is a hard thing for me. I'm very heavy-handed, but I really hold it very, very loosely, and I do very, very light, thin lines. And if they get staggered, that's okay. That'll be okay for what we're doing. But you want to just try to get yourself to get some really, really thin lines. Even some of mine are a little too thick for the small area we're going to be working in. Oh, there we go. Now I'm getting it. Oh, see, that one was a little too, I got too excited. And so everybody just kind of do a little practice to kind of get a feel. And there's no right or wrong way to this, but I felt instead of just diving right in to our image, I thought it might help you guys to kind of get the feel for what we're going to be doing on our signs and our apple barrels. Okay. All right. So I think it'll be easier if we start with the sign first. And again, this is just a fun way to kind of make it look like wood without it being too complicated. I'm going to find it more comfortable to turn my image so that the sign is horizontal. And so I'm taking that E37 marker, and you can kind of maybe watch me first, but I'm going to draw little lines. And again, they could be a whole row of little lines. It could be a cluster of 3 and then a cluster of 2. There's no right or wrong way.
Hey,
So
Jen, could I ask a question? In the coloring guide, you colored the sign with E21 first. Should we do that?
Oh, sure. Yep. You're good. Yep.
I didn't know if it was better to do it before or after.
It is good. So yeah, I'm going to just color the whole front with E21. Thank you very much, Kelly. I'm so used to not coloring something all one color first.
I know, right?
It's just not usually what I do. So thanks for being a good student, Kelly.
I know, I'm trying.
Well, this is Kelly.
I do. I love school, you guys, very much. I will probably go back the day I retire.
We were on a meeting earlier, I think it was this week or maybe it was last week. I don't know. It's all a blur. But Rebecca, Kelly, and we had a question about something that we were supposed to be doing as a team. And Rebecca and I were just sitting there, like basically waiting for Kelly to explain it to us, because Rebecca and I were the ones in class talking and not paying attention. And Kelly was supposed to be the one paying attention, but she still didn't know what we were supposed to do. I didn't know.
I mean, in my defense, I think it was just really confusing. But I think we all kind of zoned out on that one.
Yeah, it was just funny because like Rebecca and I were just sitting there like,
I know. I didn't fulfill my group role,
Yeah. I was a good team player. I would definitely put the work in, but there were definitely times that I was distracted in class and didn't pay attention. So
yeah, I was definitely the person that you want to have in your group project, because I would just do it also.
in second grade, my desk was in the hallway for talking too much. So we'll just leave it at that. So I'm going to take E37, and like we just practiced, I'm going to do little thin lines, and I'm doing it down the right side of the sign, but I'm holding the sign horizontally because I just think it's much easier to pull the marker towards you. So hopefully that's showing up. Yeah. And you can see they're not straight lines. They're not perfect lines. They're just lines. It's going to come together. And now I'm going to spin it the other way horizontally and pull some lines down on the other side. And this time I'm not going to do it down the whole thing. I'm going to try to do a little cluster. Like I'll do 3 lines and then skip and maybe do another 3. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that okay. I love when we use this software, Kelly, because I can zoom in like this, and I think it's so much nicer for people to see what's going on.
Here's what.
So now with that E37 marker, just since we've got it out, I'm going to just shadow the right side of the post. And then I'm going to take E33 and I'm going to essentially trace over those E37 lines. And I trace over it like 2 to 3 times, but also with a very light hand. It is going to make the lines a little bit thicker, but it's staying pretty true to those. And by going over it 2 or 3 times, it's blending that E37 and it's really softening those lines to kind of look like wood. Oh, I love it. My friend Beth said my desk was in the hallway too in second grade. I don't think that they would be able to do that anymore.
I don't think that, yeah.
I had the benefit of having an A last name, which meant I was always in the front right desk, so I couldn't talk.
Shari just said that she posted on Facebook and Instagram. Hopefully people will find us. So I guess this time I'll just come and join the chat here since she can't do Facebook. Sorry.
Good.
Shari.
At least we still got Shari hanging with us.
Yeah.
I know. Oh my goodness. And someone is asking if there's going to be more big word dies. Yes, there's going to be more big word dies and also more big of the giant outline style. There's a giant outline style for Valentine's and for spring that are really cute. They're really fun.
The Valentine's one is really, I mean, they're all amazing, but they're good. They're real good.
So I just blended the edge of that E37 on the post with E33, and then I'll just fill in with one layer of E33. And now we have this really cute wood-looking sign. I just thought that was fun and a neat way to kind of add some, oh my gosh, Kelly, yours looks so cute, some texture.
Yeah, I never tried to do it that way. I love how it looks. That's really fun.
Yay. And with only 3 markers, so pretty good. So I'm going to take E21 and we're going to do our apple barrels next. All right. And so I'm going to take E21 and color the whole apple barrel, even the belly bands. You could do those gray, but again, I was keeping things simple. So E21 across both of those apple barrel baskets.
Any incentives?
So, and I saw another question too about upcoming things.
Well,
Another tiny gift box. We are working on one for spring.
Yes, there is one.
We are working for one for spring, but I'm glad you like tiny gift box. I love them. We have, well, actually we moved them recently, but we had like all of the critters out.
Oh, my friends.
I have Erica's daughters came and Miles, and they all all got moved around, and some of them went home with them.
Yeah,
the unicorn had to go home with Petra. So
yeah, no,
and then yeah, somebody says they definitely don't put kids' desks in the hall anymore. And Pear Blossom Press says hi. Hi, Pear Blossom Press.
I see that Jackie my friend Jackie Bates is telling me the places I could go apple picking on the Cape. So thank you, Jackie. I've lived here how many years and I didn't know, but you said you found it by Google too. So I don't feel as bad. I feel like we try to hold on to summer so long here on the Cape that those fall activities kind of get forgotten. So now I'm going to take E37 and I'm going to, on those kind of the belly bands of the apple barrels, I'm going to do a little bit of E37 on the left and the right. And I'm going to go ahead and do both of them. Both buckets, barrels, baskets, whatever you want to call them. And then we're going to add those little lines again. So for the top section of the basket, I'm going to draw the lines down from that top belly band. And on the bottom part of the basket, I'm going to draw the lines up from the bottom. And again, if you guys haven't already grabbed the handout over on the Create With Us page, you can see on the coloring guide, it shows it pretty well, what I'm explaining as well. So I'm going to do little lines. And again, this is a very little area. So sometimes it's 3, 2, 4, but I try to do them at varying lengths.
Sort of. Yeah. No.
And then I kind of struggled going down. So I flipped my barrel upside down so that I can go, I can make, for some reason, I'm much better at doing the lines if I'm going away from myself than towards
much, it's much easier to pull the marker towards you, for sure. And again, there's no right or wrong way. It's wood. Everybody's wood is going to look different.
There's a question about what kind of heat tool you're using, Jen. Somebody's saying that their paper, hold on, scrolled. My paper cardstock tends to warp even at a distance. It doesn't look like yours warped. I don't want to suggest ours because ours definitely warps the paper a little bit. So I don't know which one.
I'm not sure where they saw me using a heat tool, but if it's any inky techniques that I'm drying the paper in between layers, then it's the Ranger heat tool. 100% all the time. It's a diffused heat. This is actually, it's literally hanging right by my leg. It's a diffused heat. So it's not an embossing gun. Hopefully
that one looks kind of like a hair dryer, right, Jen?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then honestly, if you're doing any inky techniques, I can't recommend it enough because you're never going to scorch your paper. Never going to scorch it. You could, I mean, maybe you could scorch it. Don't take me literally.
I mean, everything ever.
But you give me one of those and see what I can do.
I personally have never ever scorched the paper. So. All right, so now that we have our lines with our E37, I'm going to take that E33 and I'm going to just do the lines first. I'm not going to blend out those belly bands. So just like we did on the sign, I'm kind of just going over them 2 or 3 times with a light hand. It is going to thicken them up a little bit, but we want to make sure we're keeping some of that E21 visible. But you want to go over it 2 or 3 times so that it'll give a chance for that E37 to kind of blend and meld, or I was just making up a word. I don't know what word I was trying to say, but just blend together with the E33. Meld, maybe? I don't know.
Meld and
mesh. I don't know what I was doing. Is it a full moon tonight? I don't know. I've been making a lot of full moon cards, so maybe.
Maybe. If it's not, it's just the cards you're making. That's.
Yep. It's bringing the aura into my house.
And then someone asked if there's going to be mice in the Valentine's release. No, but there is a fun brand new critter in the Valentine's release. If there are mice in the spring release, and it is so cute. I know that Shari is a big fan of them. That's a little hint.
It looks like somebody has a marker that is burping on them, kind of letting out too much ink. If you guys are using the sketch markers, which are the oval Copics, and they are being a bit too juicy for you, just take both caps off when you're coloring to help it let it breathe a little bit.
And then someone mentioned that they were having difficulty getting thin lines. Do you have any tips, Jen?
All my tips are really to definitely practice. And I still have my callus from school from writing, so I am not light-handed at all. But definitely practice. Barely hold your marker. Like it's almost like falling out of my hand. So I'm barely holding it, and just gently drag and test and practice. I know I'm practicing on a bigger piece and then we're moving to smaller, but I think that just helps you start to get the feel. And I definitely think, like Kelly was mentioning, dragging down is much easier. Now, if your tip on your brush marker is very loved, it might be a little bit trickier for you to get thin lines too. So be kind to yourself. If it's your marker's problem, you know, not much you can do. Well, and you can get a new tip, but I know that doesn't.
And I don't have the most steady hand. And for me, for whatever reason, I kind of practice on my paper, and going down to up like this way was what was easiest for me to get a thin line. Practice. Yeah. And so I think
pulling
maybe
from your belly
from my
up.
belly towards, which is kind of interesting because it's kind of the opposite as you would think, but I don't have a very steady hand. Or if someone has arthritis, that might be something to try too, because for some reason, and that was when I practiced on my paper here, I was practicing to see. And that ended up being, so everyone's different. So it's worth trying to see if that works.
Yeah, definitely see what works best for you. And then, you can always remember, the beauty of you guys having your own supplies to make these kits is, if you don't love it, don't feel invested in this teeny little apple barrel. You can die cut yourself another one and try again. All right, so I'm continuing with that E33, and I'm just blending out the edge of the E37 on those belly bands. And then what I'll do is blend out the edge of that with that E21, trying to leave at least a little bit in the center. That's that original E21 that we colored first. So that's like the highlight. When something's circular, it's nice to shadow on the left and the right to kind of give a highlight, down the center or down one of the sides, so that it'll appear to have kind of a glare and appear to be, have a curve to it.
It's funny. I have two barrels, and I like the one I did second the best because I got some practice.
You got a feel for it. Yep.
Yeah. So it definitely, you can tell that the practice really makes a difference, because I really do like my second barrel better than the first one.
Well, and remember, right now we're really concentrating. We're really looking at that wood grain and maybe being a bit more critical to ourselves than we need to be. Because once we put it together with the cute apple tree and the cute mice and all the cuteness, you're not even gonna notice.
Yeah.
We're our worst critics always.
Oh yeah.
So we're not going to do any apples or anything just yet. I thought we would go ahead and take out our apple trees. I did not attach these to the low tack tape because for me it's a big enough space to hold on to go ahead and color them as they are. But I figured while we're in the mode of coloring with our browns, we can go ahead and stick with it, right? So I'm going to first add the shadow to both trunks, and then I'll start to blend out, and we'll kind of chat about that a little bit, because this is a bigger area. So if you color a lot of lawn fawn, a bigger area like this might seem a little scary and a little daunting at first, but we can definitely give you guys some tips and tricks to blending that out. So I'm using E37, and I'm going to go up from the root. And you can be really generous because, again, this is a bigger area. It feels so weird, but you can. And then I'm going to go along the left side of the trunk pretty thick with that amount. And then I'm going to go along the right side of the trunk. And then as far as these branches go, I'm kind of splitting my apple tree in half. And the branches that are on the left, I'm going to shadow just a little bit on the left side of the branch. And then the branches that are on the right, I'm going to shadow just a little bit on the right side of the branch. And then I'm going to go ahead and just shadow my other apple tree. So
I know we got quiet because we're like, this is
concentrating.
Yeah.
I'm going to color up from the root pretty generously, go down the left side of the trunk, go down the right side of the trunk, and then split my tree in half. So the left side, I'll add a little shadow to the left side of the branches, and then the right side to the right side. And I just wanted to mention, like I kind of chatted a little bit at the beginning of class. So I have an online class where we're going to be using the same stamp set. And people have nicely asked me in the past, like, why would I pay for a class with you when you do these free classes? And my answer to that is the both classes are a package deal per se. I try to give you guys even more coloring guide ideas. And for instance, for my awesome autumn class where we're using this, I have some really fun other wood grain techniques that we're going to do to this tree trunk. And then again, other layout ideas, scene building ideas, tips and tricks. So it's a cohesive thing. And the reason why I do that is because I want you guys to not have to buy a whole lot more supplies to be able to do my online classes. So we just think it's a great resource to have both options. So that's that.
And it gives you so many different ways to use one stamp set, which I think is incredible. And what Jen is so good at is she's so good at taking a look at supplies and going, what else could I do with this? And so there's just like so much to learn. And it's just the experience of it too. It's just fun. I know me, like now as like a newer mom, like you have a different perspective. It's like really hard to find time to do things. And so by signing up for an online class, it just kind of gives you like, okay, today I'm going to do this class. It's on this day, when is the next class? What day is it, Jen?
That's a great question, Kelly.
Yeah, let me look that up because I don't know either. Hold on.
Thank you, Rebecca. If you go to shirkus.com/classes, I think.
But yeah, so then you can have a day that that you're going to get crafty. Maybe you could invite a friend over, or if you're like Rebecca and I, where we have our crafty friends are often virtual, like Jen and Shari, we could pick a day and do it together, and you can be texting and chatting or Zooming with someone. And it's just a fun thing. And it's just nice when you give yourself that time, which is what I think is so fun about the online classes, is that you can kind of book that time out for yourself. And
I agree. And you have the ability to, and just like these Create With Us's, you can watch them whenever it works in your schedule. So people from all over the world take my classes. They'll take the class live with me, but maybe go back and watch it at their own pace after as well. Or they sign up knowing very well they can't take the live, and they'll watch it maybe a few evenings after work. Which is also why I did for the first time this fall this self-paced Halloween class, because I love Halloween cards and I just didn't have time to fit another weekend class in, a weekend day in my schedule this fall. And so I was like, I'm going to try a self-paced one. And a lot of people signed up for them because they know they don't usually get to take my live classes anyways. So super fun.
Yeah, definitely two ways to enjoy it. And even if you don't take it live, you can still be in the group as well, right, Jen?
Yeah, there's a private Facebook group for the online class, which is a really fun community. But starting this fall, you don't need to be on Facebook to access the class videos. So that's a new thing as well, because I know I've had some people email me who don't have Facebook accounts who wanted to participate in my classes. So real quick, I took my E33 and I'm blending out along the edges of the shadow. And this takes a little bit of time because it's a big area. And you guys might notice this is something down here, this kind of awkward line. I call that a pushback line. That's just a Jenism. It's not a professional term or anything. I'll talk about that pushback line in a minute. But when I'm blending the edge, I don't worry about that pushback line. I'm just worried about that original edge of the E37. And once I get it all blended, same thing. I'm going to take that E33 and I'm just going to do one layer of color. And then I'll talk to you about how we can smooth it all out and make it look a little bit more cohesive once we get that filled in. Thank you, Rebecca, for putting that link in there. What did you find the date?
So is it the date of your next class or the next Create With Us? What were we looking for?
The next classes. So it's October
8th is Jen's next class.
Awesome Autumn, October 8th.
And that's exactly, that's your Awesome Autumn. And then after that, you are live somewhere? Oh,
yep, I'm at Firefly Farm in Minnesota.
Yes.
I have not been there since February of 2020, so I cannot wait. And I think that there's a few seats left. She's doing a fun soiree retreat weekend with her retreat house, and that is sold out. But I believe there are still some seats in the classes in the store, so I can't wait to go back to see all my farm girls. I'm excited.
And then your next class after that is October 29th. It's a Furry and Bright that kind of leads up into our Create With Us of Ugly and Bright on November 4th.
Thank you. Thanks.
That was a very good summary.
Oh my God, I'm trying.
So now,
I want to mention something really quick, Jen, just because it has something that happened to me. I was like, it was just looking terrible. I couldn't figure out why. Well, my marker was actually kind of running out of ink. And so I need to refill it, but I just grabbed E34 and now it's like looking much better. So if you're struggling with blending the lines, you may want to take a look. Your marker might be dry.
Yeah. I actually taught last weekend at Papercraft Clubhouse in Connecticut, my other in-person classes this fall. That was very fun. And everybody was using their own markers, and Tracy was very, very busy refilling markers that day because people were discovering. If you guys are using alcohol-based markers and you find that you're struggling with saturating your paper and you hear scratchiness, your markers need to be refilled. And don't keep using that marker because that will ruin your nibs a lot faster. So now that I have this one layer of E33 down, you guys can kind of see this is not looking really pretty yet, okay? But what we're going to do is, continuing with that E33, I'm going to kind of flick my marker from the dark area into the light, and I'm just going to kind of swoosh it. And what that's doing is making an in-between color. And if you have a third marker you want to use and you want to do 3-color blending, that is totally fine. But I tend to stick to 2-color blending. And by swishing this color in between, it really softens that extra line. I'm even bringing the E33 down into that pushback area, that pushback line that we talked about. And so essentially what we've done is we've made 3 colors with our 2 markers. We made our dark. Actually, we probably made 4 colors, but we made our dark with the E37. We blended the E33 and E37 together. That was our second color. We did our 1 layer with E33, and then we swooshed to get an in-between color. So yeah, we made 4 colors with 2 markers, essentially is what happened. So anytime you have that awkward line, it's not really as prominent up on these branches, but definitely on that tree trunk, I'm just swooshing my marker. And you can see I'm avoiding going everywhere because I don't want to lose all the light, right? But it just helps get rid of that line. Awesome.
And then a couple questions. Someone's asking why I have washi tape on Copics. That's because ironically, there's washi tape on this one, so it's I know it's not mine. Questions, who did I steal it from? I'm guessing Rebecca.
That's a me.
Yeah. So at one point when I've been crafting with friends, I've put this on there so I know these ones are mine. And as you can tell, I mean, we clearly don't pay attention because now I have one of Rebecca's and one of mine. So if you're crafting with your friends, it's a really good way to keep track of your markers. I just don't have it on all of them because I've since bought new markers, but haven't gotten it together enough to have put washi tape on those.
Well, and we don't really travel to classes.
Yeah, we've been it's just between Rebecca and I. I mean, goodness knows our markers have definitely, like, some are hers, some are we don't even know anymore.
They've melted.
And then if a chamois should be washed, you don't need to wash your chamois. I never do. I will rinse it. If it gets really inky, like say I picked up a bunch of Distress Oxide ink or something, I might put it under the sink, even with a little bit of mild dish soap, like a Dawn dish soap, and really just rinse it out. But I have put it in the washing machine and it does work.
Put it by itself.
Put it by itself or with your rags, because you don't want all that ink coming off onto your favorite sweatshirt, right? So if you are going to put it in the washing machine, which you can, just make sure you're not putting it in with things that you love dearly, you know, because the ink might come off. But I just always do it under the sink, and that works really, really great. And I actually, up until recently, I was using my original chamois, meaning my chamois from like what? 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Yeah, I was using my original one. And it finally just was like, I was like, you know what? After 7 years, I deserve a new one. So I got a new one. But like, you don't even need to. You can keep using the one you have, which is what I love because it's really sustainable as well.
I just saw
a question. Oh, sorry, Jen.
I was going to quickly. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that I saw a comment by Nikki where she was saying her favorite part of classes is that I don't have to think, just have fun. And that's my favorite part of classes too. Even with these Create With Us's, like I'm creating just like you guys. I'm having fun. I'm having a blast. And I don't have to think about the card design, but I'm creating and learning. And it's just awesome. So I just wanted to mention that. And then,
yeah, if that was Nikki Foraker, I might have butchered her last name. I'm just seeing it. Like, I don't think I've ever have to say it out loud, but she does. She takes all of my classes, but she also makes amazing cards on her own, and she'll take my class and put her own spin on them. And so that is so fun to see. And then I saw Wendy mentioned that she's like, I think I'm going to like the self-paced class best. And just so you know, all my classes become self-paced after the live because the content is always there. You guys can still take all of my previous classes. And again, yeah, you'll have access to the videos and you can watch them whenever you would like. And Becca said that last weekend was a blast at Papercraft Clubhouse. And I agree. It was so fun. I met new people. I saw some old friends. It was great. And I was nervous, but it was like riding a bike, teaching live again, teaching in person again.
You know, I haven't ridden a bike in like a very long time.
I haven't either. And every time I said that last weekend, I was like, this is just like riding a bike. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, but if I got on a bike, would I fall off?
I think I would. I worry I would.
You're not. Yeah,
I am an uncoordinated. I say I figure skated when I was a kid, albeit terribly. But I could do a jump. I could do a spin. I'm Michelle Kwan's exact age. I loved her. Like since she was 13 and was like started winning, I was just obsessed with figure skating, but I was old enough to know I was terrible. So it was like a kind of a fun time to take lessons. I think I was about 12 or 13 13, 14 maybe. I went back and tried to ice skate, and that is definitely not like riding a bike. It was as if I had never put skates on my feet before. I couldn't do anything, but in my head I could like do jumps and spinning, but it wasn't real for sure.
I was never, well, first of all, I've never broken or sprained a bone in my body. And as a kid, I was always very fearful of that. So like for ice skating, which we did do often, again, New Hampshire, I would never pick up my left leg. I would just ice skate around the pond, pushing off with my right leg. Like that's all I did because I was so afraid to do like the motion you're supposed to do. And so then as a kid, like even back then, my right leg would be so sore. Because all day
you just have one like overly strong leg and one weak leg.
I was also the kid with training wheels that we had a dirt driveway, which always made me so sad. I wanted a paved driveway so I could drive my bike faster. But we had a dirt driveway, and my dad's like, Jen, you know, we're going to take your training wheels off. And I'm like, no, Dad, we can't. I'll fall. And he's like, Jen, look at them. They were literally like up in the air. They weren't even touching the ground anymore, but I was so afraid to have him take them off.
That's too
Craziness. Anyways, all right, so we're gonna color the leaves, and again, simple coloring for Jen. We're gonna do kind of blending, but simple blending. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take YG09, which is my darkest green, and I'm gonna just do little lines, kind of like those leaf lines from the base of the leaves, and I'm just gonna quick do these little lines from the base of the leaf up. If you get them all, great. If you don't, great. Just quick. I've colored this tree a lot, you guys. So I think at this point I was like, what's an easy way? So, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other tree as well this way, just with that YG09.
And I saw somebody mention that they put their chamois in the dishwasher, and I have never tried that, and that's such a good idea, and I want to do it.
I might do that this afternoon on my way when we go home.
I know, or we could even stick it in the work one, although I don't know, the work dishwasher is,
I don't want to do that.
it's not the best. It's an office dishwasher, guys, so.
Our dishwasher is like on its last legs, so I'm going to choose not to do that.
Yeah. And we had to replace ours a couple years ago, and it was, once you replace it, you're like, oh, like that was the previous dishwasher was not working.
Cynthia just said that she grew up in Massachusetts, skating on ponds, and it's actually a lot harder as the ice isn't as even and is often harder. Plus, there can be stuff in it. It requires a lot more power. Yeah, that's why I skated the way I did.
Like any Florida girl in the early 90s, I skated in the middle of the mall.
Oh, yeah, I know. I don't think I've skated in an ice rink a couple times, but everything was outdoors.
Really? Oh, that's so cool.
Like on lakes and yeah. All right. So now that we have all our little lines, and I didn't really zoom in on that, but hopefully here you guys can see, I just quick, nothing fancy, nothing pretty. And what I'm going to do is take my lighter green. I'm going to use YG05, and I'm just going to trace those lines like 2 to 3 times. Very similar to how we did with our wood grain. 2 to 3 times will be enough to kind of just get the two colors to blend together. It is making the line a little bit thicker, and that's okay, but it is leaving a decent amount of white left. This is just quick.
And this is with the YG05, right, Jen?
Yep, your lighter green, whatever. I'm using YG05. Could use YG23, but whatever your lighter green is.
So we're not really blending, we're just kind of going over it.
Yeah, we're not really blending. You can see here, you can definitely still see my YG09 lines, but I did like 2 to 3 swipes of that YG05, and it definitely softened it. Okay. And then I'm going to stick with this tree while my cardstock is wet. And I'm going to stick with the YG05, and I'm just going to color the rest of the leaves, but try really hard to just go over that white area of the leaves once with the YG05. Don't go over it, 3 to 4 times, because essentially you're just going to have that same color we just made at the center of it. I kind of find it's a lot easier if you kind of like swoop left and then swoop right. I don't know if that makes sense. Like on the points, like I just go swoop, swoop.
Yeah, that actually really helps.
Okay. swoop, Kelly. Just swoop.
It makes sense. I get it.
But yeah, I just start at the top point and I swoop to the left and swoop to the right. And then I'm less apt to keep going over it. And then once we get all of these colored in, I'm going to take that YG09 and I am going to draw little leaf lines again, but only on like the front leaves, not everywhere, just a couple of them here and there. Because what that's going to help us do is our eye will see the other lines even more defined, if that makes sense, because you see these few, your eye is going to see the other ones as defined even more. This is kind of what it looks like up close.
So just pick random ones.
Just pick random ones. A couple here, a couple there. There's no right or wrong way. And then I'm going to do my other tree.
And then somebody's asking if there's going to be a new video for the stamp set Frosties. There may not be a brand new intro video because it is a re-release, but we have been using it in different videos. And maybe Rebecca or Shari can link the intro video for the hot foil. We did a really cute card with Frosties in there, and we're going to keep using Frosty in the next Inspiration Week videos in October as well.
I love that set, and I love it. And I'm so excited that there's a die set for it now too.
Looks like there's some other Florida girls that understand that whole ice rink in the middle of the mall thing. I don't know if it's still like that or if that was just in the 90s, the early 90s, because the mall was, the place to be in the early 90s. So
right.
I don't know if it really is anymore. Yeah, where do kids go?
Sarah said, yay, Firefly Farm. Can't wait to see you, Jen. I can't wait to see you guys. And then Kelly, somebody's asking if there's going to be red glitter or gel for the Valentine release.
Oh.
No. But
there's no plans, but that's a great idea. And I love hearing that. That would be really fun to have for stencils, like pink and red. We might have to do that for next year. Yeah. I love hearing those. If you guys ever, I'm like, oh, I wish I had, I don't know, this color embossing powder or whatever it might be, this kind of stamp set, let us know, because we love to hear those things because it helps give us ideas. And then we can start working on things. It always takes a long time to get a product to market, so it's good to give us a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sweatshirts. So crazy. All right, I'm swishing my leaves, filling in one layer.
I'm swishing now too.
Swishing. And again, there's so many fun things you guys could do with these leaves. Again, being a New England girl, these leaves could be more colored in all different, yellows and reds and browns, like true fall colors. But this is the early season of apple picking. This tree.
Is today? No, it was 2 days ago.
It was Thursday, and luckily nobody told me, so I didn't cry about it. I found out about it the next day. And I was like,
because it's always the day before my husband Mike's birthday. So his birthday was yesterday. So I'm like, wait,
that's right. Happy birthday, Mike.
Yeah. We had the parents of a toddler birthday celebration, which was DoorDash and a movie at home.
Ooh, a hot foil plate that would work with Superstar or Upon a Star stamp set, Kelly.
Ooh, that would be really fun.
Yes, that would. And stars in general.
Rebecca always keeps a nice little running list of these things. That could be fun for summertime.
So now I'm just using that YG09 marker and filling in all the little apple leaves. I'm not doing any 2-color blending or anything on those. Again, reminding ourselves it's okay to keep it simple sometimes.
Sorry, guys.
Are you doing the darker or the darker green?
Yep. Yep, the YG09, the darker green. And don't forget your little apple leaf with your mouse too.
Ooh, good call.
Oh, here's a question. Somebody is saying that their lawn fawn stamps are losing their stickability. So my trick to that is a little bit of I like Dawn dish soap, but any dish soap, a little bowl, some water, make a little bath for them, give them a little wash. Use a mesh strainer or something because you will lose a stamp. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, so Rebecca's mentioning having a bowl of soapy water, and then I usually have a bowl of clean water to kind of rinse, and then
Yeah.
I have like a paper towel that I put them out on. But yeah, or a strainer, because you don't want to lose all your little lawn fawn stamps. I was filming for my self-paced Wicked Fantastic class, and we of course used Mr. Harvest and from Happy Harvest. And Kelly, my set is so, I think it's like beyond repair. I said in my class videos, I'm like, I think I'm allowed to treat myself to a new Happy Harvest set. Because he's just like, I mean, the corn stalk doesn't even want to stick anymore. It's like, and I've
Yeah, and what happens is there's a natural cling on the back of your stamps, and on our fingers we have oil and dirt on your work surface. You might have dust, and over time those things are going to build up on the back. So by washing them, and like that's why the Dawn dish soap helps, because if you have any like oils or lotion on your hand or whatever it might be, it'll make it feel like they don't stick anymore. But when you wash them off and let them dry, you'll see that cling is back, which is so great.
Yeah. I mean, he's a loved stamp set, and I've had him since the day he came out. So, all right. So we're going to move on to our apples. And so I'm going to be using my favorite red combo, R35 and R29. I like to have like a little bit of a pinkier, warmer red. And so I'm going to start with the R29, and we're going to do shadowing on all our apples. Then I'll blend one out to talk you through it, but then we can continue to chit chat. So for the apple barrels, we'll just zoom back in. What I'm going to do with these is I'm essentially shadowing where another apple is touching it. So on the apple barrel, that apple on the left, I'm going to shadow a little line on the right, and I'm using the R29 marker. The front middle apple, I'm just going to go right along the apple barrel. And then the front right apple, I'm going to shadow on the left. And then the two apples in the back, I'm just going to shadow coming up from the bottom. Okay, we'll do the same shadowing on the other apple barrel. So on the left apple, I shadow on the right. That center front apple I just did along the apple barrel. And then the right apple, I shadow on the left. Then we have the apples in the back. I'm just shadowing up from the bottom. And then before I do my single apples, I'm just going to quickly do the apple that is being held by the cute little mouse. And we're going to shadow that on the left. Very similar to what we did with his body. And then all these single apples, even the apple trees, we are just going to shadow up from the bottom. So I essentially am doing a U at the bottom of each of these apples.
And we should go ahead and do like the apple, all of them, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do all of them. And then when you get to blending, you'll do one apple at a time, but I'll explain that. And then once we get going on blending, that way, that'll be a great time to do more questions and chit chat. And yeah. But this is just a simple way to add a little bit of dimension to these apples.
I love this color combo too. I know I've told you that before, but it's like one that I had never done before, and now it's my favorite too.
Yay. It's literally the only red color combo I've been doing for 15 years. You just find what you like.
You don't need to follow the numbers, you know.
No.
It's okay to mix and then someone mentioned that a hot foil plate of the giant messages would be beautiful. I agree.
I wrote that one down.
I want that for that giant thank you one. Oof, be so pretty.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So now when we get into blending, again, I'm just going to start with my R35, and on these single apples that are the U at the bottom, I'm essentially just tracing that U right on the edge back and forth to saturate the paper until I don't see a line from that previous color anymore. And then just do a very quick swipe of that R35 at the top. And that way you'll still have that dimension at the bottom. If for some reason you're like, oh, I don't really see it anymore, you can always go back in and dab in just a touch of R29 again. But, you know, don't overthink it. Again, once we put this whole scene together, it's going to be so cute. If you're in the mood to just color one color apples today, you can do that as well. Remember, it doesn't matter. It's your card.
It's going to look super cute no matter what.
Yep.
And so someone was mentioning that sometimes they have some difficulty lining up the small images like the apple slices. And that might be that when you line it up, you might need to use maybe, we use low tack tape like a washi tape or post-it note tape. Maybe you need to use a little bit of a stickier tape or do a really big piece of tape over the whole thing so it's really holding it in place. And I wonder if that would help. And I don't know if, Jen, you have any other tips for like the tiny dies,
The other thing that's helpful with the tiny dies or even like the scripty words, and I've shared step out photos and even videos of this. So if you want, you're more than welcome to send me an email through my website and I can send you links, but you can also die cut first and then stamp. And the way that you do that is you die cut, you have your empty piece of cardstock with all your images die cut out of it. You put that back into a stamping platform to do your stamping, and you just place your white cardstock die cut pieces in and then stamp down on it. So but definitely a stronger tape with those littler images. I always like really press my finger into it so that I'm pressing the tape into the center of the apple or the center of the star, as well as the metal of the die, as well as outside of the die. But yeah, happy to share. I've shared it multiple times on my website, especially with the scripty word dies, to get those to be perfect. You can just send me an email through my website and I'll send you a link. And again, my website is shirkus.com, my last name.com.
That's a really good tip, Jen. I hadn't even thought of that.
And a lot of people will do that tip of die cutting first and then stamping when they're prepping for my classes, because maybe they're gonna make more than one of the designs that we're making. So it's a faster way. I actually learned it from my friend Amy, who used to kit for me for when I travel and taught. And now my friends that are still helping kit for my virtual events and stuff, they use the same tip. It's a great way to do multiple stamp die cutting in a efficient way too. Blend in all these apples.
Oh gosh, people are preparing for Hurricane Ian. I'm so sorry, you guys. We're thinking of you, and please stay safe.
Yes, please. We had remnants of one of the storms up here last week, and it was nothing compared to, but please, everybody stay safe and be careful.
Apples are looking
Karen.
good.
Yeah, Karen just said that this color combo is awesome. Thank you.
I like the idea. Somebody's adding some clear glaze to the apples to make them shiny. I like that idea.
Oh, that's
yeah, good idea. Some glossy accents or the Lanfang clear glaze pen. Didn't even think of that. I'm fired.
you could even put. I know you could even put sparkle on these. It could be kind of fun too.
I know somebody commented on Instagram that they were joining us today, but they were surprised I didn't glitter anything. And so I'm just putting it out there. Extra credit if you guys are going to add glitter to your cards today. Extra credit. guys know I'll never stop you from glittering.
Someone says they're late to the party. Welcome, join us. We have been coloring in our images, and there will be the replay posted of this, so you could always go back to that, and you'll still be able to create with us going on from now, or you could even catch up.
Yep. No tardiness. It's all good.
Someone says Miami was declared out of the cone of concern. That's good. I think everyone in Florida, my family's in Miami, so I'm glad to hear that.
I think Libby was supposed to be going to, now I forgot where, but somewhere that might be hit with a storm. Libby from Hero Arts. So she was concerned. So hard when they're trying to predict where it's going to hit. So many models.
There's a comment, Jen, that's specifically for you. It says, no teal, no glitter. Is it Jen?
It's me. I'm here. I know. Teal would have been really pretty on these fall cards, honestly. Again, glitter and teal it up, you guys. Which is actually, make sure you guys share your projects on Instagram and Facebook with the hashtag that you guys can see at the bottom of the screen. It's LF Create with us, Kelly.
I can't figure it out because there's such a delay, so every time I point it looks like it's the wrong way.
And so I actually have a little request for all my friends that are here with us today. I want to see your faces. I want you guys, I'm trying to find my card. I want like some selfies with your card. I was trying to put together a fun video about these Create with Us's. Yeah, like that, Kelly. Exactly. So we want some selfies with your cards, maybe a selfie of you in your crafty space or with your kitchen table with all your supplies out, or maybe you did get together with a person in real life and you guys are hanging out with us. I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. So, but definitely use that hashtag LF Create with Us so we can find those photos. And the hashtag's on your handout too. So, I am using this R35 and I'm coloring the outer edge of my apple slices and the little apple on my cider jar too, just so you guys know.
And then someone's asking, as we're coloring those in, about the art behind me. So this here was made by my friend Deb, and they're IKEA frames, and then little circles cut. I think they're probably about 2-inch circles, squares. 2-inch squares. And what this is actually paper from Lawn Fawn's first 10 years. So it's got at least one square from every paper that we released over 10 years. But you can imagine that you can go, I know you've got a stash. We all have a stash of pattern paper, of little bits of 6x6 pads, 12x12 paper, whatever it might be. And you can put them down and you could do a rainbow like we here. You could even do like a color scheme. So if your favorite colors together are pink and yellow, you could do a whole pink and yellow theme. And it's a really fun, like easy DIY crafty thing that you can be still using your craft supplies in your crafting area, but create something for your home too. So it's really, really fun. It's just happy.
And Liz just said she must have been taking my Wicked Fantastic class. She goes, and a class with almost nothing but purple? Who is this? Hey, I'm keeping you guys on your toes. That's what I'm doing. Keeping you on your toes. I was going to say something and I completely forgot. Something about your paper. Oh, when you said, I'm sure you have some extra 6x6 paper. I was showing Shari my Lawn Fawn 6x6 paper pad issue. I've got a lot. And she's like, you don't have to keep it forever. I go, yes, I do. It's like a collector's item.
I know it's hard not to like hoard the paper, especially since a lot of it doesn't come back, you know?
I know. Oh, so hard. So hard. How are you doing with your apples, Kelly?
I'm good now. I've got my slices, I've got my jar. I got everybody, all the apples are colored in.
All right. We're going to start doing our cider jar. And you guys can choose whether it's cider, apple cider or hard cider. everybody at Papercraft Clubhouse was like, hard cider. I was like, oh, okay. But it can be whatever you guys would like. And I'm going to zoom back in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use YR24, BG10, and E37. It's a little weird. Stick with me on this. Okay. And so I'm going to take the YR24 and I am going to color. I'm trying to keep it. It's so hard. I'm trying to zoom in, but show you the marker. I'm going to color YR24 on the bottom half of the jar, basically up to the center of the apple. Just like that. We've had a little bit of cider, so there's some missing from the jar. Hello, hello, those of you that are hopping on now. Thank you so much for joining us. Now I'm going to take a BG10 and I'm going to dab it on that edge of the YR24 and actually go down into the YR24 a little bit. So it'll look like that. It'll kind of make it look a little bit more like a muddier BG10. And then I'm going to fill in the rest with just BG10 to fill in like the glass. You can color your, this can be a cap, but I also saw it as like the lip of the jar. So I'm just going to color it the same color, but you could make it a brown cap if you wanted to. My jar is open. That's the story and I'm sticking to it. And then what I'm going to do is take my E37 and I'm going to do thin lines on the left and the right of the jar. And you might want to watch me first. And this is kind of just, I was like envisioning like those dark bottles, you know, so that have a glare. So I'm just going to do a thin line. And a thin line. And then we've got our crow visiting. I don't think our friend Eric is on today. Can you guys see that? So I just did a thin line on the left and a thin line on the right with the E37. And then I'm going to take that YR24 and go over it, just like we did when we made wood grain, to soften it.
Well, that really adds a lot. That's really pretty.
It's just like I know it's like a little something, you know?
Well, and just cider too, like those sort of natural, like it's not pulpy. You know what I mean? It's not like all one color. Yeah.
Yeah. So just, you know, jazzing up the cider jar, jazzing it up.
And and one thing to note, because I saw it so funny, Maureen from our team did it, is she made the cider clearly a hard cider jar, and she had a mouse from You Ought to Know who's supposed to be like falling into the leaves.
Oh gosh.
Jar, and I thought that was hilarious.
That's so funny. That's so cute. All right, we are going to color our overalls next, and then we are going to do the rest of our cards, our backgrounds and stuff.
Oh, also, I think on the mice, we need to do the ears too.
I did. I grabbed my pink. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. We got to rosy some cheeks and do some ears. And so I'm going to actually go ahead and do that part. I grabbed my R20. And I'm going to do the ears. I kind of like to just dab a little bit at the base of the ears and leave a little bit white, but you can fill them in completely if you want. I'm dabbing their nose. And then I like to give a good rosy cheek. So the R20 is a lighter color than the E's that we use. So if you just do some gentle, continuous dabs, that cute little rosy cheek will come out. And I just love it. I think it looks so cute.
And somebody mentioned they want to know what black ink we're using. And we are using black ink, which is Lawn Fawn's alcohol marker friendly ink. It's also watercolor friendly. So, and you'll see it's got this little like star in the corner that tells you it's alcohol marker friendly. And I really love using this. And you mentioned that sometimes yellow will smear the line. One thing you could do would be to just either let it dry over time or use your heat gun to heat set, because you might be stamping and maybe the ink's just a little bit wet, and yellow has a lot of the alcohol in it and maybe it smears it. So you could try to just hit it with the heat tool really quick or wait some time and then try your light yellows, and that might help as well.
Awesome. Yeah.
You're faster than my typing.
All right, we've got our overalls. So I'm going to be using B97 and B34. And I'm going to start with B97. And I'm just going to dab a teeny bit at the base of the straps on the overalls. Just like little dots. And B97 is a really dark color, and bees are tricky to blend anyway. So whenever you do the shadow with your bees, just less is more, because it's going to get more intense when we start to blend. So I'm going to take that B97 and I'm just going to do a very thin line along the right side of his body, under his little belly, and I'm going to fill in his pocket. But I tried really hard to keep it really nice and thin.
Oh, I like that idea, Rebecca. She wants a paper piecing style puppy and kitty with a witch hat and a Santa hat, but where you could interchange the hats.
Literally
Super
wrote it
cute.
down the second I saw it.
Super cute idea.
And then I'm going to take B34 and gently dab the edges of that B97. So even on the straps, I still left a teeny bit of white. It's not a lot, but it's a teeny bit, and it will make a difference of having a nice light, medium, and dark area. And then I'm going to fill in the rest with one layer of that B34. And then because I want my pocket to be a little bit darker, I'm going to go over it one more time with the B97. Remember, alcohol-based markers, the more layers you do, the darker it will get. So cute. Yay.
And someone says they have to leave to work soon, which is a bummer. But the good thing is we will be posting this. It will be available as a replay. So you will be able to see the rest of this later.
Yay. All right. Also, giving a quick thumbs up to our video here on YouTube will help other people find the replay. So if you haven't done that already, I know we have, looks like over 280 people watching with us. So if we could get a few more likes on that, that's always helpful.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for doing that, especially too, since our Facebook friends still have to kind of find us over here.
I know. All right, so like I mentioned, we are going to be using the Fall Leaves background stencil. And that's the right name, right, Kelly? Fall Leaves background?
I can check that.
Yes, I will confirm.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure it's just Fall Leaves background, but now I'm questioning myself.
I know. Because I'm questioning it, like I'm making it a bigger deal. But what's fun about this stencil is it is a two-part stencil, and we are going to use both part stencils, but we are going to use both stencils, but you could just use one or the other as well. So there's a huge variety of looks that you can get from it.
This is one of my favorite stencils because I love fall leaves so much. I have gone to visit Shari during fall just to get to see her fall leaves.
Yay!
Although we do have liquid ambers here, which leaves do change color sometimes here.
Sometimes.
But there's a bunch right by the office, which is really nice.
I actually kind of thought of you and thought of your brother, Kelly, the other day, because remember we went on that set when we visited. Yes. Kelly's brother is a director, so we were lucky enough to go on set of one of his shows. But there's this house that I walk by because I'm doing my step challenge and getting all my steps in. And so in our neighborhood, and she must have just mowed her lawn, and we had a really bad drought this year, which I know you guys totally understand, but is a little abnormal for us. So, but her lawn looks so good, it looks fake. And then like we haven't turned color here yet. The Cape doesn't really get great fall color anyways because of the ocean, but there was just like a sprinkling of orange leaves under this oak tree that's all green, and it just looked like a movie set to me. And I literally was like, oh, that reminds me of Kelly and like her brother. Like it was just so funny. I was just like,
yeah, because they have to like make fall in California,
yes.
or they shove like fake leaves inside of a tree. And then my favorite was when they had that like picture. So when you look through the windows of the house,
Yes.
you're seeing like a picture of a fall background or whatever it might be. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's just a lie. But anyways, it was just, I was like, oh, it was just so fun.
It's the movie magic. Maybe
Yep.
someone did that. They're like, you know what? I just want it to be fall. And they took some fake leaves and just put them in their yard.
Exactly. So anyways, I am working on the Wendy Vecchi Make Art Station that I know Lawn Fawn carries. It's a magnetic board. So this way I don't need to tape my stencil down and retape it. I don't need to use a spray or anything. It's just gonna hold it with the magnets. However, because
I want to show that there is a big one. So Jen
Thank
has
you.
the tiny one, and I have the big
And
mama.
we carry the big one in our store.
Yes.
Perfect.
That is
Yes.
And this
And-
piece that we're stenciling on, Jen, is 5.5 by 4.25, right?
Yes. So this is 5.5 by 4.25. Yes. And I'm using Distress White Heavy Stock, but you want to use whatever you like to get a nice smooth ink blend on. And because I'm going to be stenciling the whole part, and it's going to stay that way, I'm not going to be trimming it down, which I do a lot, but this time we're not. I'm just going to use a little bit of removable adhesive to put this onto my Wendy Vecchi station. It's not like holding it wicked securely, but it's just holding it enough that when I put my stencil down, I put the magnets down, I don't have to worry about my paper moving. Okay.
And if you don't have removable, by the way, I always just use normal tape runner because I like don't want to find my removable one. And you can do that and then just peel the tape off of your station later. So you can do that too.
Totally fine. And so, like I said, there's two stencils. I'm calling this one the one with a lot of leaves. And this one is the one with not as many leaves. So if you own this stencil, and I think if you look at it, you can tell. There's one with just lines and one with branches. So the ones with just lines has a lot of leaves, and the ones with branches has less leaves. It doesn't really matter, but if you wanted to do similar to the backgrounds I'm going to do, I just wanted to explain that. Also, having a grid under you when you're using a two-part stencil like this is going to be helpful so that you can realign your stencil correctly. So I always make sure that the Lawn Fawn website is legible, meaning it's not backwards. And I always make sure that it's pointing to my belly. And that way I just know right away I'm not turning the stencil over or what have you, so that they will layer well together. Then on my grid, I'm going to make it so that there's 2 from the bottom, 2 from the left. This does not matter. You could go way over, way up, whatever, but just remember however many squares you do. So when you do your second stencil, you'll do the same squares. Does this make sense so far?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, hi, Brianne. I didn't see you earlier. All right, so once I get my stencil in place, and I'm using the one that has the most leaves, so it has like those 3 little lines throughout the stencil, I'm going to just put my magnets down. And I don't really worry about where they are because I'm going to be able to move them as I'm ink blending. All right. I'm going to be using Lawn Fawn inks today to do my ink blending. I'm going to be using Lobster, number 2 pencil, fake tan, and walnut. So a red, a brown. I would call this like a dirty yellow. You could use a bright yellow if you wanted, and kind of like a dirty orange. So,
And I do want to mention, someone's asking if we're starting with the background for card number 1 or number 2.
that's a good question. I don't really know. Let me look. I just took both my backgrounds out.
So there's one that's brighter, which is card number 2, and then there's one that's got more like softer yellows, and that's card number 1.
So we're doing the one with the red. So the one with the brighter. We're doing this card.
So card number 2.
Thanks, Kelly.
Card number 2.
I make all the handouts. I just don't print them out for myself. And normally I've been getting better. I label them, but I forgot to label which was card 1, which was card 2. So we're doing this background. And we're starting again with that stencil that has the most leaves. And what I'm first going to start, because I wrote notes. I had to write notes because I made these cards so long ago. So I'm going to use fake tan first and a blender brush.
And some people have just been joining us, and we're so glad that you guys are joining us. You're actually joining at a perfect moment because we did our coloring and now we're working on our background. So you can work on backgrounds with us and just do some coloring later, and there will be a replay as well.
Perfect.
And somebody wants to understand what stamping on blanks mean. As Jen gets everything ready here, what we meant earlier is that you can die cut your coordinating die without stamping on it. So it's just going to be a blank piece of cardstock in the shape of an apple, for example. Then you can drop that apple piece into the negative. So you have an apple-shaped hole and a plain apple blob, sort of. You can drop that in and then stamp on that instead. So some people prefer to do it that way, and some people prefer to stamp and then die cut. And it's kind of a personal preference thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to use a blender brush. I'm using fake tan. I'm going to bring my blender brush into the ink. I like to tap it off a little bit. My table surface is made of glass. So whatever I tap off onto it, I also will be able to pick that ink up and continue to use it, kind of like a palette. So I'm just tapping it off. And then I'm just going to do a light inking over all of these stencils, all over all the stencil.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
So light, very light orange.
Yeah. Again, light hand. I've been doing a lot of light-handed things lately.
If someone's asking if you can use paste with this, and you definitely can. You just wash it off later with this Wendy Vecchi thing. And so that's can be really fun too. I actually really love using the fairy dust paste, which is the clear glitter paste that we have over top of the fall leaves. It makes them just pure magic. It's so pretty.
Yeah, I know you guys can't see my Wendy Vecchi station right now because it's all covered, but mine is very loved. I paste and do everything, and I just love it. It's made me use my stencils so much more. And if I can have a tool that will make me use my items, my products more, like my crafty tools, it's worth it to me. All right. I've got a whole lot of fake tan going on here.
This is it might be one of my favorite color names. It always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
We're in Orange County over here, so the fake tan is the way of life. Although I don't think neither one of us are fake tanned though. No. I actually bought one of those like bottles where you put it on, but then I never use it.
I'm afraid to use it.
Yeah, I am too, because I'm going to stain everything.
Yeah, I'm going to stain everything. I'm going to be all streaky and
Yeah, so it just sits there.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on. I was just, talking about fake tans.
I am going to use Lobster next. And I am going to use a smaller blender brush, but you definitely don't have to. You could use a bigger blender brush if you wanted to. Both will work fine. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of lobster, which, by the way, I have to say, I like a lot of different ink pads brands out there, and Kelly is not paying me to say this, but lobster is the best red ink. Like, it's perfect for Christmas time. So,
You want to know
alert, Janabler alert.
Essentially, it matches your favorite marker.
Yes. See, look at that. That's why I like it. That's why I like it. It's a warm red, and I like that. All right.
Yes,
So I'm
gold
taking.
stencil paste would look. Someone's asking about gold
Yeah.
stencil paste would look perfect, and someone's asking what paper is best again for the alcohol markers, and we like 80-pound Nina Solar White. That's what Lawn Fawn's white cardstock is that we package on our site. So you could always try it from our site to see how you like it. But I always suggest going to your local paper warehouse and buying a big ream of it, because once you try it, you're going to love it. And it's really nice to have the big, like 250 sheets of the cardstock. It'll last you forever.
Yeah, love it. So I'm just dabbing a little bit of lobster ink. I'm dabbing quite a bit of it off on my table because I only want a little bit. And I'm going to add this to the edges of the leaves. So if you've never lived somewhere where there's fall foliage, Kelly, you just need to pretend.
I have moved somewhere.
Oh, that's
I just
true.
Yeah.
That's true. But you just want to dust your edges. Like, it could be the side, it could be the base. Again, I'm having a pretty light hand. And I'll go and pick up some of that ink that I tapped off on my table. That's why having like a glass mat to work on or some slick surface is nice. If you're working on the larger station, you could be tapping your ink off on that.
That's what I'm doing actually right now, as I'm using, because I have the larger, because I don't have a glass mat, but I'm just picking up the ink from my larger.
You know, tapping it off on paper, it's just you're wasting your ink. Tapping it off on a non-porous surface, you're able to utilize that ink more. So I'm working on doing all of the leaves and the berries. And again, if you get some of the lines or anything else, that's fine. But that's what I'm concentrating on.
The berries should be kind of like a heavier hand, right? And then
Sure. Here's a close-up of what I started to do so you guys can kind of see.
Okay, mine's a lot lighter, but that's okay. We'll compare at the end.
Well, you know me. This is light for me, Kelly. So nice. I really have a heavy hand. I am always in awe, like Elena on the design team. Her coloring is always so light, and I love it. I'm always drawn to it, and I can't do that.
I know. I'm always trying. As you guys know, if you watch Lawn Fawn's intro videos, we often will recreate design team member cards because they're just so beautiful, and a lot of people want to see them in videos. And trying to achieve Elena's coloring is like Rebecca and I, we keep trying. We're getting better. We keep trying. But as far as I know, Elena is just magical, and she's amazing. And all the time we talk about it. We're like, oh, we're trying so hard, but it's not like Elena's. I like to pretend like because all the design team members, they're like my celebrities. And so I want to pretend to be like them. And so I like to recreate the cards and pretend I'm Megan or Grace or Tammy.
Which,
or Lynette.
by the way, trying to achieve a technique or a look that somebody that inspires you does is totally fine. Beating yourself up over the fact that maybe you're not getting there is not allowed. We want to be positive. Actually, Tim was talking about this on his live earlier today. Like, as long as you're creating something, you're doing great. You are doing great. Yeah.
Trust me, my cards never look like Megan or Elena's or Tammy's or Liz's or Lynette's or Shari's or anybody on the team. I'm just inspired by them. And it makes me get out of my comfort zone because like everything for me is just like bright and neon and rainbow. And like, I love it. But if I only ever made cards that were in my head, every card I made would be rainbow. So like, it's good for me to try something else because it gets me, and I get so inspired, and then it'll kind of make me try new things, or I'll look at a stencil I've had forever in a new way. And so I highly recommend like picking your favorite friend that you love their cards and just making one of their cards and just learning.
Because even if you don't achieve maybe that specific look, you're inspiring yourself to try different things, which is awesome.
Exactly. You might create a whole new brand new thing that might end up being your favorite.
Exactly. Somebody had asked what's holding my ink pad, and these are my beloved ink stands. I saw Brienne was on our live earlier. I don't know if she's still here, but these are the ink stand. They hold your ink pads in place, and she makes them for all different kinds of ink pads, mini ink pads, distress ink pads, all the ink pads. So check them out. All right, so we've got our 2 colors down. And then what I'm going to do, I'm reading my chicken scratch notes from August, you guys. I'm going to use walnut next. So a dark brown.
I know, I'm trying. This is I don't know if anyone else is like me, but I mix up the brushes all the time and then it's like a whole thing.
Oh, I don't.
Shocking.
Do that.
Are you being sarcastic or?
No, I'm being honest. Yeah, no, I don't mix my colors. But you guys have the brushes that don't have the white bristles, so it's so much.
Oh, there
so
you go.
Yeah, we have the brown.
You know what you need to get from Make It by Marco is the colored clips to put on the.
We have them, but Kelly doesn't look at them.
But you don't pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a user error situation.
Okay, well, I can't.
But we do have those. They're also one of Miles's favorite toys because he goes and we actually sell them in L'Enfant Shop, and he goes and I need to tell them because I know they think it was so cute. He goes down the aisle and he finds his shakers and he picks up the Brush Buddy, and he's been doing this since he was like less than a year old.
That's so cute.
The little canister of them.
All right, so I'm going to still stay with a small brush, but if you have a big brush, it's totally fine. This is a fun fall background, and honestly, if you accidentally, but if you tap an area with brown that you didn't mean to, that's a happy accident, and that's actually how fall foliage looks. So it's totally okay. So I'm going to go in with walnut, and now I'm going to concentrate on the acorns and those 3 lines.
And Jen, someone's talking about the best way to clean brushes. Do you have any tips?
Yeah, so I only use my water-based dye inks with blender brushes. If I'm using a Distress Oxide that has a pigment property, I still use the blending foam like these right here. So if you are using Distress Oxides, it's not recommended that you use the same brushes in your water-based dye inks like Lawn Fawn inks or just regular Distress, because it kind of cross-contaminates those inks. But what I tend to do, if I've used this brush and I wanted to, we're using different brushes, but we're also working up to the darkest. So I wouldn't have cleaned in between if I didn't have different brushes. But I always have this yummy flour sack cloth in my lap. And so I will just take the brush and just brush it pretty well against the flour sack cloth. And that'll get a decent amount of ink off. After a long time, I've actually have not cleaned these I don't even know when the last time, but after a long time, I might rinse them under the sink, but, and let the water run clear. But if you do that, don't leave your brushes bristle up to dry, because all the water is going to soak into the base, which is where all the glue is that's holding all those bristles in. So make sure you leave it bristles down. You will not deform your bristles. Leave it bristles down so the water drips out. But I ink blend all the time, and I don't clean mine very often. So I just don't think you really have to clean them very often, honestly. I don't know if you have a different way, Kelly.
No, I mean, Rebecca really.
Kelly washes brushes?
I mean, let's just face it. If it was me, they would just never be washed, you guys.
I use Johnson's baby shampoo.
Oh, there you go.
I used the Johnson. I watched an old Christina Werner video one time years and years ago, and she used makeup brush cleaner.
Yeah.
And I kind of went with that, and then I got cheap, and I went with Johnson's baby shampoo, and that's what I like, because I obviously have to clean them because Kelly mixes colors a lot. So
And I'm really not looking great here today, you guys.
We
Really.
love you, Kelly. We love you.
Yeah.
These are just the little things that make us love you more.
Yeah, I'm a little
So,
scattered.
but
People interrupt me. People talk to me a lot while I'm doing things, and so that's part of because people come in here with like questions about inventory or other things, and which are really important. And I start talking about that, and then I come back down and I just pick up whatever ink pad, and now I'm using the one that has the brown brush buddy on it and the orange.
because she was talking.
Because I was talking. Yeah, I can only do one thing at a time.
It's totally okay, you guys, if you want to dust your other leaves with a little bit of brown too. Again, these are fall leaves, and all the colors mingle and live lovely, happy lives in fall, I hear. So I'm actually just kind of using some of the ink from like what I actually inked heavily with brown and brushing it into the leaves a little bit. Okay. That took a while because
yeah, this is fun though. I like
but
this.
it is. It's so fun. Like, look how pretty.
Oh, I haven't looked at this is my favorite. Oh,
I know, peeling it off.
I wait for this. I know. Ah, I love it. Look. See, look, and Jen's and mine look like they look different, and that's so great.
I love it. I actually just realized I forgot to remind myself how many squares I went over. So let's see here.
Somebody says that Kelly, they see a bus and apparently you're under it. Poor
Yeah,
Kelly.
I mean,
well,
I deserve it, you guys.
2 and 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to take the second stencil. And again, make sure that you can read the words, lawnfawn.com. They're not backwards. And however far over you went on your grid is what you want to do. So I went 2 and 2. And I'm going to put my magnets down.
And I always look through my stencil, and what I do is I make sure that like those brown lines line up with my leaves and that the berries are at the end of those sticks.
Yep.
And that can help you too, because like mine might have been twisted just a little bit, because I had to kind of like twist mine a little bit from what I thought, but I'm able to just look through and go, ooh, perfect. Okay.
And this is when I'm going to bring in number 2 pencil, which is kind of like a dirty yellow, but I love it. I think it's so pretty. I say that with love. I don't say it with meanness. And I'm going to also just lightly ink blend everything. It's okay if you hit your acorns and stuff. We're going to go over those in walnut. But because walnut's darker, it'll overpower
So you're doing
it.
the number 2 pencil over everything. Can I give you
Yeah,
this?
because it's just easier.
That way I can keep looking at everything. Oh.
thank you.
Okay, this one has orange in my handwriting on one side and number 2 pencil and Jacqueline's handwriting on the other. I think Shari's having a panic attack.
What happened?
Look,
Yeah.
and then watch.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, we get creative here.
Someone's asking if we are going to be restocking the High Five kit soon. We don't have any current plans to restock the High Five kit, but we have heard a lot from people how much they love the products. So we are looking into maybe bringing them back. We'll see. So don't worry. And we love hearing that you love those items. And then also someone is mentioning that they have one brush for their most used colors. And I thought that's a really great idea too. If you have your most used colors, you could have a brush for each of those.
Perfect.
Are those like your crickets, Jen?
I know. I keep hearing that. I'm like, what's on here?
Yes.
I love it. Oh, we don't get that here.
It's getting to be dusk, so they're coming out. It's so funny. I was on the phone with my dad the other day, and I owed him a phone call, and so I was like, I'm just gonna call him when I'm walking, do 2 things at once. And but when you're wearing your AirPods, like it really amplifies some sounds. And he was like, what is that? I'm like, I guess it's the crickets. He's like, oh my gosh, they're so loud. And I think maybe that's what's happening for you guys too. So now I'm going to use walnut again with my small brush, and I'm going to fill in the acorns, the little dots, really whatever you want. Remember, dust maybe a little bit of the leaves with some with some walnut. And nope, I didn't. It looks like I did some of the stems that have the berries, and some of them I didn't. Doesn't matter. But it's just fun to kind of see how this really comes alive when you're using a lot of different inks.
And are we bringing any of the reds or oranges on this side, or is it just going to be?
We're not.
Okay, I like it.
But you can. I won't stop you, but Rebecca would prefer if you use the right brush when you do.
I know. Ugh, man, I gotta be careful. I sound like a very irresponsible person.
You're not. You just were busy.
I'm
It's just very non-type A of you. That's all.
I know that's
very
I am an enigma. I'm type A, but also a mess, and it's honestly
It's a very confusing thing.
it's
to
yeah.
do.
It's being in here is it's very stressful in here. Oh my gosh, I love that cricket sound. We never get that here.
No, I kept looking around going, what am I hearing?
Yeah.
So this is what my background looks like. So you can see I kept some of this stems with berries yellow, and some I went over it in walnut. There's no right or wrong to this at all.
Okay, moment of truth.
I can't wait to see yours.
Ooh, I added a lot of walnut on the number 2 pencil,
Ooh,
and it turned
really
out
pretty.
so pretty.
So pretty. I love it. Love it, love it. All right, so what I'm going to do before we stencil our second background is I am going to do a quick clean. And the way I like to do that is I have a mister bottle, and I put the isopropyl alcohol in it. And so I just mist my stencil, which my bottle needs to be refilled. And then I'll just do a gentle wipe with my flour sackcloth. And the reason why I use the rubbing alcohol is because it evaporates right away. I don't really need to wait for any water to dry. And I'm trying not to use a whole lot of paper towels in my studio space. So I really like to just use the flour sackcloth. So using the alcohol, you don't have to, again, you won't have any water.
Oh, like really?
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever had we've ever
Yay!
like actually we bought a mister.
Janable alert. Janable
I
alert.
know. So we finally have it. But yeah, but you do have to spray for someone who's new to this. If you're trying Jen's technique, you do have to spray more than you would think.
Yeah, I like literally coated the whole thing rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
And I just gently rub on the stencil. You don't want to, rough up any of your little veins on your leaves or anything. But now I've got clean stencils ready to go. And that won't work if you're using paste. If you're using paste, you got to go to the sink and use water. But I wanted to show you guys how loved my make art station is now that, I've got gunk around the edges. Every once in a while, I'll just use a razor blade and it'll all scuff up really easily and not ruin the board at all. So don't worry if you don't get all the paste off your station right away. All right, so now what we're going to do is our second background. So I just have another 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of distress white heavy stock. I'm adding it to the station with removable adhesive.
Should we do this one landscape or portrait? It doesn't really matter, right?
I don't think it matters. It is going to be a landscape. It is going to be a landscape card, but that's way more thinking than I put into things. And we're going to take our stencil that has the most leaves. So the one that had those little 3 lines. And again, I'm going to make sure that lawnfawn.com is readable and it's pointing to my belly. And I'm also going to do 2 and 2 for my grid, so I remember where I put the stencil to make it easier to line up the next one. And for this stencil, we are going to do all of this number 2 pencil, so the yellow.
Oh, someone says they almost lost their die, but they found it. And if for some reason, if you ever did lose one of those tiny dies, just email us at info@lawnfawn.com and Jess will hook you up. We always have a little stash of extras. We don't want you to be missing a die. So if you ever have an issue like that and you just can't find it, email us at info@lawnfawn.com and we'll help you out.
Yay. People are always, I'm always seeing on social media, Kelly, how appreciative people are of Lawn Fawn's customer service. So
we appreciate you and that. And then Jess is awesome. She recently moved, but she is still she's virtual Jess now. She works from home and we're so glad because Jess has been at Lawn Fawn she worked in our house even for
long before
for 10 years maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Ivy and Nancy and Lynette and Jess are originals.
The OGs.
Yep.
All right. So I did that quick. And that's the only color we're going to do with that one. And then with the second stencil, I'm going to line it up by using that grid, making sure it's 2 and 2 squares. We are going to do fake tan. So I really wanted to just show you guys, like, sure, you could go crazy and do a whole bunch of colors, but you also could keep it simple and only do 2 colors. Or honestly, you could just do 1 color on both stencils. Maybe ink one heavily and one lightly.
You can even do all, like all one shade, and it looks really pretty. I've done that before.
Yeah, it's just such a fun.
And then someone's asking if they can write in about a missing stamp. And yes, that's fine too. Like, it's just that if you miss that tiny little whatever that you might need, definitely look at. And I know I've been chatting a lot, Jen, so I want to confirm the color. Is it fake tan?
Fake tan is the second color. And we're just doing it all over. So we did number 2 pencil all over with the first stencil. And then we're doing fake tan all over with the second stencil. And I hope you guys are seeing how I'm literally just picking up my magnets and moving them around to get them out of the way wherever I'm going to stencil next or ink blend next. It's just so nice and easy to just not have to like tape anything down, or I'm messy enough as it is, so the spray for me was just too messy. And plus cat hair, so much cat hair would be stuck to that, so.
Somebody says that they have a retractable magnet with a light, and that helps them with their dies. What's this retractable?
I'm guessing almost like what is that when you search for things at the beach?
A metal detector?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, this is so, look at this. Look how different these are.
Well, they're really pretty.
2 totally different looks, the same stencil. Love it. Love it, love it. All right, I'm going to do a quick clean. I really should have filled my bottle. Maybe I'm not. I'm not going to clean my stencils now.
Are we using them again?
Nope.
Oh, I might as well, so we don't have to do it later, right? Oops.
I was going to say, I would do it now if I, like, literally my Mr. bottle, the little thing in it can't get down to what's left. I got to fill it. All right, I'm going to move my station out of the way. We don't need that. We are just going to work at assembling our cards, doing a little bit of stamping.
I think I would still run it through the sink.
That's what I'm saying.
But
don't worry, I'll just wash them.
I might as well. I don't know. I'm on a roll here.
Okay.
She's cleaning. Let her clean.
I know. She wants to prove. She wants to prove.
I want to prove that I am capable of being a normal person. Okay.
Don't put your walnut ink away, you guys, because we're going to just do a little bit of dusting of ink on our Happy Fall die. So from this kit. So sometimes when I'm in my studio, and I'm going to use walnut for this. I think I just said that, but sometimes in my studio, I'll ink blend first and then die cut, you know. But for the sake of class, I wanted us to have our die cut already done. So just have a gentle hand when you're die cutting this word or ink blending this word fall, so that you don't kind of wrinkle it. But I'm just kind of bringing that ink up the word fall. And it's okay if it dusts the bottom of the word happy. This is just also another really fun way to give your giant sentiment, you know, dies a whole nother look without having to layer paper or anything super fancy. It's just a little bit of ink blending.
I wouldn't know. For some reason, I just wouldn't have thought to do this. I really like it because it is just
simple, right? And it'll look like
no
that.
cutting involved.
I did dust the bottom of happy more so because it was just easier than trying to avoid it. And I like the way it looks. So. And now we're done ink blending. So I'm going to gently take my images off of my low tack tape. I have to always be careful because mine have kind of been living on here for a long time. If you're prone to lose things, you can take them off as you make your card as well. But I just figure for you guys watching me, it'll just be easier if I have them all off the tape. That was obsessive tape runnering over there.
You like that? It was aggressive.
Yeah.
It was more aggressive than it needed to be.
You were on a mission.
Yeah. Also, my card base is, I don't know which one's wrong, my paper or my card
Well,
base.
I'm impressed that you're putting on a card base because everybody knows I don't do that. I don't know what that is. So
That's you and me, Jen. She actually puts them on card bases.
yeah, that's a miracle.
How
I
else
just
do you
want
write
to
it?
I just want to point out, you guys, this low tack tape, I am going to save this and actually attach it to my die cut machine because I'm going to rip it into little pieces and use it to hold my dies on. So it's not wasteful to, you know, use it to hold your coloring either.
Okay, and I have a couple questions I just want to just go over a quick here. Let's see. Gosh, where was it? Oh, here's a really good comment. Says you can put the delicate die cut back in the negative to blend, which is a super good idea.
That's a very good idea.
And if someone says they have a die that doesn't cut cleanly at one end, please email us at info@lawnfawn.com. And Rebecca's going to put that in the comments because we will replace that die for you. It's rare, but obviously these are manufactured. They're made here in the US. And every once in a while, there might be one with a little oops. So we will replace that right away for you.
I'm just rolling off my removable adhesive off the back. So what I'm first going to do is adhere my stitched rectangle onto this card with some foam squares.
I'm gonna turn the air down. We're wearing our sweatshirts today because we're very excited about these new sweatshirts, but it is so hot here.
You know, I turned it up because it got so cold, and then
Yeah.
it got hot again. It got really cold in here a little while ago.
Maybe it's 74.
Yeah, because 73 was all of a sudden I was chilly.
Yeah. I think too, the whole office, like, no, it's just us here for the weekend. So we're just cooling our office, but the whole rest of the place is hot.
This is just going to get centered on. And on your handout, I list out everything that I pop up with foam squares. So you have that if you kind of lose track when we start this assembly part. And so I'm going to add my apple tree onto my card so that it goes off the top and the left side. So it kind of breaks free of that stitched rectangle. So I'm going to just do that flat with a little bit of Lomfon glue tube.
Jen, I don't giving out size information. So somebody's asking what size sweatshirt you're wearing.
So I am wearing an extra large, but I would recommend, well, I wish it was a 2X. It's a little tight down on my waist. There's not a whole lot of give on this one in the waist area.
I feel like
and
Jen
then
and
this
I are about
one,
the same
I think this
size,
is
and I'm in a 2X.
this is a large.
Yeah.
I would go up one size from whatever you would
I'm
normally wear.
5'8" and like broad shouldered, so I probably could wear a medium, but because of my shoulders, I would wear a large. But like in the hoodie, I would probably wear a small. So it's like the zip up is
very true to
it's
size.
also like what look you want. Like if you really want the oversized, then size up. But like the large, like the medium was a little bit tight on the hips, but the large isn't at all. And I wear a size 12 pants if that helps anybody.
So somebody asked me what size this rectangle is. It is 4 3/8 by 3 inches. All the measurements are listed on the handout as well, just so you guys know, and whichever stitched rectangle set that came from, because I don't know. All right, and we're gonna add our apple, our basket of apples with a foam square, but first we're gonna put our ladder up high. So it's gonna like look like it's off the ground, but we're gonna cover that with the apple barrels. So just use your apple barrel for placement of your ladder. The ladder is gonna go down flat, and the basket of apples is going to go up with a foam square.
That's a clever way to make the ladder look like it's bigger than it is.
Right? Again, I had to come up with a lot of ideas with this apple tree.
And someone says if they're petite, a small. Yes, for sure. So like there's someone in our office who is somehow the whole office is like 5'8" and above, except for one person, and she was doing a medium instead. Like she didn't need the large, because I think once you're more petite, if you're not quite as tall, you're usually like you can wear a smaller size. So funny enough, Lanfon at one point had we had little step stools everywhere because people couldn't reach the tops of our racks, and now it's like we're up to like 5'8" to 6'2" or whatever tall.
Travis is at least 6'2", maybe 6'3".
Yeah.
I'm gonna add the apple slice to the bottom of the barrel. So I just dabbed a little glue onto the barrel, and then I'm gonna place that apple slice right down onto that. I don't squish it down or press it with my finger, so I won't have glue ooze out. I just kind of let gravity do its thing. And then I'm going to add the cider jar with a foam square overlapping that barrel. And then another little apple slice. So I'm going to just do another little dot of glue and place that apple slice over it. Then we're going to put Happy Fall on, and I'm crazy maybe, but I like to pop this up. The foam strips are awesome for this. They're like the perfect width. I was just looking. I feel like I have stuff everywhere. So they come in white and black. I just have these black ones readily available from doing Halloween cards. They're great for that, but you could use either. And when I put foam behind these, I don't put it behind the whole word happy. You know, I just kind of pick and choose along that part. And then on fall, I can't remember, did I? Yeah, fall, I'm going to use the foam squares. I'll show you. I'm going to use foam squares and cut them into thirds and hide them behind the chunky parts.
And I did want to show there's also these like little micro dots as well that you can use. Are like teeny tinies. And then these are the like strips.
Jen, there's a question about what size your center rectangle is. And I think you answered it, but I didn't catch it. What size was that again?
Also on the handout.
4 3/8, I think, or something. It is on the handout.
It's a
on the 4 3/8.
Okay.
And if you don't have the 4-bar ones, you could trim down to that size, or you could just use a regular, and it's still going to look super cute.
Yeah, I have all of my stitched rectangles nested together on one magnetic sheet. So I always just pick what I like for the look. I understand the 4 bars aren't as popular, but I feel like stitched rectangles, you can't go wrong having them all. Eventually.
All the rectangles. That is, I think, our most like purchased die is the large stitched rectangles, because it's this wonderful basic no matter what you're gonna make, right? Someone says they like to cut their sentiments with an adhesive foam sheet, and that's a great idea.
I mean, I use my Lawn Fawn outside in stitched rectangle on almost all of my makes I make for Tim Holtz. It's just, you got to put that little stitching on.
It adds the little, makes it special.
So with these squares, you guys, you'll see I've cut them into thirds, and it gives you the little strips. And so what I'm going to do is use those and just place a few of them here and there on the word fall. It's not meant to be everywhere. It's just enough to kind of raise it up. I'll show you mine once I get mine on so you guys can kind of see. I know this might be a little finicky for some people, but I just really like how it looks raised up from the card. But again, if this isn't your thing, don't feel you have to do it.
Another way to add height is to die cut that same word a couple times out of cardstock, glue them all together. And that's actually usually my favorite way to add height. I really like doing it that way. It requires a little more die cutting, but I don't know. I like the look of it. It makes it feel like
super fun. I do that sometimes. I just forget to do that because my brain is often in the fact that people make kits for a lot of what I design. So so
you don't want to do it.
Yeah, like Rebecca would kill me if we did that for a class. So and that makes complete sense. But so my brain just doesn't go to that as often, you know. I've been trained.
Yes. So if you guys don't know, we do a lot of classes for our wonderful stores. We do a lot of trade show things, and so we prep a lot of kits and things for them as well. So it's kind of fun because we get to do classes with you guys, and we get to do classes with our wonderful stores as well. And if you're wondering if there's a store close to you, make sure to check out our store locator, and Rebecca will link that in the comments now, and you can see if there's a store close to you, or maybe close to somewhere you might be visiting, that you could go and check out some not only Lawn Fawn but lots of crafting supplies. So we'll put that in the comments.
So this is the little pieces I put on the word fall, you guys. You can see I didn't put it everywhere. I just kind of put it enough to raise it up. And then I saw a comment from Brianne that she was finally enabled to get some spring-loaded scissors, and she says they make such a difference. These are the scissors that she's talking about. This pair of scissors I've had since I was in college, which was a long time. I know I only look like I'm 25, but I'm not. They're made by Fiskars, and so they're left-handed or right-handed, and they're great if you have any cramping in your hands or anything. But honestly, I've been using them since I was 19. They make it really easy to fussy cut things out. They take a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to them, they're awesome. So that's what Brianne was talking about in the comments. So I'm going to add my Happy Fall with my foam squares, strips, pieces onto my rectangle. I forgot to ask in the beginning, I'd love to know in the comments how many of you guys are creating along with us today, even if it's not making the same exact thing that we're making. Are you coloring some images or working on maybe a kit or something? Let us know. Or if you're just hanging out and chit-chatting with us, that's cool too. I'm always curious. It's the only thing about the online is I don't get to see you guys. We were joking about that last weekend at Papercraft Clubhouse, that I didn't have a 6-second delay and I didn't have to ask everybody to do like hearts and thumbs up to let me know if they're doing okay. I could actually look at the room and see if everybody looked like they were following along all right.
And people are asking if there's a trick to lining up the mice with the dies. I think someone mentioned earlier, one trick is to really get above it. So when you're looking, like if you kind of look at me right now, I'm like right above my desk, right? So I'm not lining it up from my edge here. I'm really leaning over top, and that's going to really give you a nice view to make sure that it's lined up. So that's something that really great that you could try.
I love it. I love seeing if you guys are creating or if you're chit-chatting with us. Thanks for letting me know in the comments. So fun. So now we're just going to add some sprinkles of some apples along the bottom. So I'm going to, just like I like to do, I'm going to add a dot of glue where I want that apple to go and then place it down. So I'm doing one under the loop of the F, and then I'm going to do another flat one in the lower right corner. I kind of have them angled at different ways, however you want your apples to look. And then I'm going to pop up an apple, overlapping the one under the F. And I'm going to pop up an apple slice, overlapping the one on the corner. It's so fun, you guys, to kind of put some things flat, put some things with a foam square. It really adds a lot of dimension to your cards, and it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. Like, it's just a really neat way to kind of make that scene that you're building really come alive. And there's our first card. So cute. I love kind of that little bit of monochrome background stencil. All right, let's see it. Yay, Kelly. I love it. It looks so good. So good.
Oh, someone said they didn't have the Happy Fall die, so they made their own with alpha dies. I love that.
Love that. And I encourage that all the time, whether it be in the Create With Us's or my online classes. Use what you guys have. We just want you guys to hang out with us, create some fun stuff, and have fun.
Someone says they're doing Get Crackin' on Christmas. Someone's making
Yay.
tiny gift boxes. People are creating birthday card for their soon-to-be 8-year-old grandson, and they're mixing lots of different sets, 6 different sets to make his card, which is so cool. And I just love that we're just creating together. How fun is this, right? That we get to create with all of our best crafty friends all over the world.
Yay. And somebody just mentioned that they're crafting along, but they're still coloring. That's totally okay. Just remember, the replay of this will be available. So you're always going to be able to go back and maybe watch again what you didn't get done or anything like that. So we are going to work on our second card. And the first thing that we're going to do is a little bit of stamping. So I got out my stitched rectangle out of the kit. It is 2 3/4 by 4. 2 3/4 by 4. And what I'm first going to do is stamp, I'm going to hold it so that it's a vertical rectangle. And the first thing I'm going to do is stamp "You're absolutely awesome." And I don't think I have my stamps next to me. I got to think where I put them. Give me 1 second. I brought them to Papercraft Clubhouse, so I would have them in case somebody needed another one. Give me 1 second. Kelly, if you could chat for a second.
Oh, yeah. Oh, somebody here is monitoring a new puppy, so they can't craft along. That is a definite good reason.
It's a Havanese.
Oh, and it's a Havanese. Oh my gosh, I have a Havanese too. Her name is Mojito. We call her Mo. And she is the sweetest, grumpiest little girl.
I was like,
She's like, you know that commercial with the Sour Patch Kids and how they're sour and then they're sweet? That's Mo.
that's Mo. That's actually a really good description of her.
Yeah, she'll be so cute running around. She'll roll over on her belly, wag her tail, and then you go to pet her belly and she growls at you. That's Mo. Oh, and Zoe is such a cute name for a little puppy. Oh, I love it.
All right, crisis averted. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm still like semi-packed from when I taught in Connecticut last weekend. So I got my stamp set.
Oh, I love that someone's nieces, when they visit, they ask to stamp with her, and they always pick the Lawn Fawn sets, and that really I love hearing that.
So sweet. So we're gonna stamp our sentiments first, and I'm gonna. I don't know. This might be a bad idea, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stamp with my acrylic block because that's what I normally do when I'm crafting by myself.
I'm going to do that too. You know, you and I are both acrylic block stampers.
Yeah, I am a block stamper. When I teach live, I tend to use my Misty because I'm just afraid I'm going to mess up. But I haven't messed up anything else today, so why not just go for it?
I mean, our mess up was Facebook not working, so I think you're good.
All right. So I think I actually cut my stamp apart for another project. I do that a lot. But it's still super easy to just line it up again because of the block form that the sentiments are cut in. So I have it there. I'm going to pick it up with my acrylic block. And I'm just going to stamp it with black licorice.
Hey, successful traditional stamping.
Are you holding your breath for me?
Yes,
Yay!
you got this.
All right, and then I'm going to stamp "your" over it. And so anytime I want to center a word, I kind of just count the letters. You know, how many letters over from the other side. Granted, you guys can just look at the card on your handout because I did all that work for you. But I'm just going to do the word "your" over the L in absolutely. Whew. Pressure stamping.
Did it. You did it.
So I've been watching Glow Up on Netflix in my studio when I'm working, which is kind of like Iron Chef, I think, but with makeup artists in the UK, and they have all these challenges and they have to do all this amazing stuff. And I was like, that'd be so fun if there was a paper crafting one. Like sometimes they get to just make whatever they want to really prove that they're good makeup artists, but sometimes they're given a challenge. And I'm like, I think I'd be good at that. Like, I want somebody to do that.
We could do that. You and I could do that.
My boyfriend Chris is in the door over here whispering that he came up with that idea that there should be a paper crafting one, not me. So I'm sorry for taking credit. He just came over. He's like, I came up with that idea. He won't come on camera to tell you guys that.
We could do it, Jen.
I think we should. I just think it would be so fun.
You don't have to do it. I'll do it. Rebecca's having a
panic attack. See, I think
she doesn't
really
like Rebecca
good.
likes
Like,
the plan.
throw anything at me, and I think I could create something
I think
to wow
fun.
the judges.
Rebecca's anxiety wants organization.
Maybe it's something we should do with like other companies too. Like I think I could rope Libby into doing it with us from Hero Arts. It'd be fun.
Gosh, that would be fun.
Libby's now hiding too. I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna stamp. Let's go ahead and stamp something on our sign. Again, I love how there's all these fun little options. You could do bushel of fun, apple picking. Honestly, sometimes just putting like a little heart is cute, but I'm going to do fresh apples on this one. And anytime I'm doing little stamping, I do use an acrylic block, whether it's live or not. I love this little one from Lawn Fawn. I always forget which one.
Yep.
Which size is, which one it? 1.5 inch.
So people can see how little it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so little. Like look at it on the ink pad. You can see. It's the best for all your little faces and hearts and things.
And I did bushel of fun.
Cute. And we are also going to stamp some words like pick and crunch, but we want to get all of our stuff on there first so we know where we should be stamping those. So I'm going to start by putting some foam squares behind this stitched rectangle.
Oh, it looks like there's a couple people that do something like this. Scrapbooking cards today is cropped, and there's something called Stamp Wars that Nancy Stamps does. Those sound fun.
Oh, those sound fun. Somebody sign me up for one. I'm ready. I like a good challenge. Like
yeah, they're saying they like the scallops.
Yeah.
It is hard to. It is nice to like. It makes it easier to grip on. So we have the bigger. We have baby, and then the middle. The Mama Bear and Papa Bear here.
When you just said that word, I didn't know what you were saying.
Oh, because you say it weird. Not you, Kelly.
Oh.
Jen says it.
Scallops? What do you say?
I can't even say it the way Jen says it.
We are proper here on Cape Cod. They're scallops. It's from our British roots.
That's what it is.
At first when you said it, I'm like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
I love you, Kelly. I feel like I've been teasing you a lot today. I hope you know.
I know. That's okay.
But I'm with
I like
on
it.
this one. It's scallop, not scallop.
Okay. I just was like.
Scallop.
All right. So I'm adding my tree with some glue tube right centered over that sentiment. It is going to go off the stitch rectangle. I love, love, love that look. Kind of break out of the frame a little bit. I just put glue tube everywhere, and then wherever it doesn't hit down on the stitch rectangle, it'll dry. You know, it won't be messy or anything. And then I'm going to take my apple barrel and my sign, and I'm going to kind of figure out whatever angle I want my sign at. And then I'll flip it over, hold it in place, and I'm just going to throw a foam square there to hold that in place, and then it's also going to pop up all of the things. So I'm going to add a few more.
Hey, a finished sheet of foam squares. I always like feel very accomplished when I finish.
I know that is something I do is start new ones all the time. So it is very satisfying when you finish one. I just finished a foam strip, and that was very exciting.
Mindy's asking if she's the only one who overuses foam squares. No, I am definitely an over foamer. I believe Jen is as well, and I know Rebecca is.
Yeah, I foam square everything. Oh my gosh, Chris, so funny. Jen, is that an old Creative Memories cup holder? This is not. It's actually because I got it at the store I used to manage, so we wouldn't have carried Creative Memories. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but stores didn't carry that. It's a scrap-a-majig, I think it was called. No, that was the stamp positioner.
That stamp-a-majig was the thing that for wooden stamps.
Oh, I can't think of the name of what this was called, but we used to sell them at their store. But it's just like the Creative Memories one. Yes, I love it.
So I have to share with you guys something kind of funny because it just scared Rebecca.
It got me, and I knew it was there.
There is this like giant 6 foot tall Halloween like zombie man, butler man that is at Lawn Fawn. We've named him Edgar, and he's been used to like scare people here for a long time. But for some reason, his head comes off, so sometimes they'll hide the head in boxes. It's like a whole joke thing. But he hasn't come out in a while, and we have some new people. So Mike put him in the women's restroom, and it just scared Rebecca, even though she knew
I knew it was there, and I walked up like, oh.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it got me a little bit too. Like I went in to just like check my hair and stuff because I was doing an outdoor thing with Miles, so I was like all sweaty and stuff. And I was like, oh, and I knew he was there.
It's like,
oh, Edgar, but Monday should be funny.
Yes.
Because
we're not going to be here until
they'll be here before us. But yeah, one time they put him in the women's restroom, like facing the mirrors, knowing that I was coming in by myself to film. And when I went in to the bathroom, I horror movie screamed. And I'm not a jumpy person. Like I like Halloween Horror Nights. And I screamed because I thought there was just a random man in the women's restroom. But it's just a Halloween character.
Just Edgar. Char's like, I've seen Edgar.
Yeah,
yes,
just Edgar.
So I just added the ladder with glue tube. And yes, Scrap-a-Mabob. Thank you, Amarita and Karen. That's what this was called. And it used to hold a trash bag, so you could put all your little bits in it. I've never done that. But I just like that it keeps my cup off my table. I don't know of anybody that's, I don't know if Creative Memories still makes them. I don't know of anybody that's making them anymore. All right, so I'm going to add my little mouse eating his apple at the base of the ladder, off the side a little bit, above that word awesome. And then we're going to put little guy in his overalls up on the ladder. He's up on the top. He's being very dangerous, you guys. You know me and my stories. And then we're going to go ahead and add a little smiley to our apple, whichever one you want to use. Just remember to have a really gentle hand with these teeny tiny images, or even grab that cardstock that we used earlier to test our little lines and get a good feel of how little of pressure you need to get a nice crisp face on your crisp apple.
My favorite thing to think about is with these little stamps is using a light hand, but not moving too quickly. And you'll almost always get a good image. So very light hand, but I wait. And then lift. Because sometimes when they're little, you have this tendency to want to go like, shh, and you stamp too fast and it gets messed up. So I always like light, but I leave it there for a long time.
I used to demonstrate when I used to teach in person, even back in the day, because with wood-mounted stamps, you couldn't really obviously see. I would say consider it like a ballet plie, because ballerinas are very dainty, and you want to like really go down nice and even and up. Like, I don't know.
I like that.
It worked. All right, so for this little apple, I want it popped up, but it's also in his hand. So I'm going to put a half of a foam square behind the left side of the apple. And then I just put a little glue on his hand. And then I just layer it over. And that way it's just kind of all there. I don't like my cards to fall apart. Just reinforces it a little bit. And then we have these really fun sentiments. One says crunch and pick. You could even use yum. And so I thought it would be fun to stamp those on here. And I know we've already put foam squares, you know, and that makes people a little nervous. So, but I think because these stamps are so nicely made and you just have to have a gentle hand with them, I think that they still will stamp fine if you just go for it, as I do it on live camera and it doesn't go. Oh good, it did.
Well, and funny enough, I had forgotten to put my panel on my card base, so I ended up doing mine without foam, and either way is going to work.
Either way's fine. These little ones I usually can get things to stamp okay. So I did a little pick and a little crunch. I love it. I just think it is so fun. And then our second card is done, you guys. Look at us go. Technical difficulties and all. I hope most of you
I
guys
know.
found us from Facebook. I don't know. We'll have to chat, Kelly. I
I
think
know.
we need to do a poll, because if we didn't have Facebook, we could use the better system. I don't know. We'll have to chat.
Oh, we're getting some requests for you to zoom out, Jen.
That's as far as I can zoom out. So
Yeah, that's better.
I mean, you can see.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, we could do a poll to see if people prefer YouTube or Facebook. The YouTube seems pretty nice.
YouTube's nice because, I mean, everybody has access to it. So, and we can always post on Facebook. Like, Rebecca could always post the link to the YouTube live at the time of when we go live on Facebook.
Yeah.
Manage.
Yeah, I'm going to hold up both my cards.
And you don't have to have
So
like a
fun.
YouTube account to be on YouTube.
Exactly. Right. Thank you, guys.
How are you guys doing? Do you have some cute finished cards? Are you getting there?
Yeah. Yay, I'm just reading some of the comments.
Yeah, people prefer YouTube. I like the YouTube comments, the way they come down. On Facebook, they get kind of
out of order.
Yeah.
You can't scroll back on Facebook
this is
on comments.
This one just like it. Yeah, and you can see them in order. It's really nice.
Yeah. So we will probably put a maybe a poll this week on Instagram stories, just to kind of get a feel.
Yeah, and see, but we got a lot of I like YouTube.
I know,
but of course, all the people that are here are YouTube people. So
all the people here are happy on YouTube. But also, there's a lot of Lawn Fawn people that are used to watching you on YouTube. So I think we'll chat about it. But I feel like it would be okay.
Saying that YouTube's easier to go back and find. Somebody made a comment that it's easier to
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes.
And I believe on YouTube you can do like a reminder as well, right? With
Yep.
it kind of
you can hit the little bell under the video, and then that way you'll get alerted anytime we go live.
Yeah, and if you like videos as well, definitely. This sounds, sound like a podcast where they're always like, hit subscribe and like at the end of every podcast. But subscribe and hit that notifications button, because then you'll be let know when you have a video coming. So it might be an intro video, which are really awesome. They're usually in the middle of the month. And then throughout the rest of the month, we have amazing videos by a bunch of our video team members. So definitely there's like nonstop inspiration. You can definitely find a video using your favorite set. So definitely check that out as well.
And there is a question about how often we do these.
So that's a really great question.
Our next one is November 4th.
Yeah, our next one is November 4th, and that will be more winter holiday based. And of course, we had our fall one this time. And we do these either 1 or 2 times per release. And we have 4 releases a year. So the next one will be November 4th. And then our Valentine's release actually comes out in December, because some people like to get a head start on their Valentine's, but we won't do the Create With Us for that until January.
Yeah, we did that last year and it worked out really well.
Yeah, it's nice to wait for after the holidays, and that way you have plenty of time to get your set in, or you could ask for one of the sets for Christmas if you really like one. So we'll be doing that in January. And we just love doing these fun Create With Us's. And then Jen also has these awesome classes. So I'd love for you to chat about those, Jen.
Yeah. So if you guys were creating along with us, or if you own the Absolutely Awesome stamp set, I would really encourage you guys to definitely check out my website. If you go to shirkus.com and click classes, you'll see I have Wicked Fantastic, which is a fun Halloween class that I just released all the videos and class content yesterday. And then I'm calling it Awesome Autumn. We're going to be doing in October. And then I also have Furry and Bright that we're going to be doing in late October. And like I had said, these classes build on what we go over in these Create With Us classes. I do still chit chat with you and answer questions, but there's a little bit more focus on the techniques that we're learning and coloring tips and tricks. And I always try to make the coloring guides a little bit different than what you got with Create With Us, so that it'll be more value and you'll just have even more ideas. And in my online classes, we make 3 more cards. And then I also give you 2 bonus card ideas as well. So that's 5 cards plus the 2 cards we made in Create With Us. So they're a ton of fun. I would love if you guys would join me.
And Shari just mentioned that you can go back and take old classes, which is really great. So of course, doing them live is really, really fun, right? Especially because it gives you, you know, you're going to get crafty that day, but you can go back and take any of Jen's classes, and you can kind of becomes like a self-paced class, right?
Yeah.
Jen, once you go back and take it later. And so you could even go back to last year. If you had a favorite set, maybe you didn't get it till now, you can still take that class, and get all that inspiration and all that knowledge. And Jen's classes are awesome. I'm sure people in the comments can tell you how much they love being in the classes and the community that's there. So I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, or if you are curious, oh, can I substitute this for this when it comes to my classes, just shoot me an email and I'll definitely get back to you. And yeah, so my online classes are $20. So $20, you get full coloring guides. I think my handouts end up being like 15 pages long of information. And you have access to it forever. So I think it's really affordable. And again, a great way
to. A lot of content, right, Jen? Like you're crafting for a long period of time on these as well, right?
Yeah, they're not just 2 hours. We do like 2.5 hours, and then we break for lunch, and then we come back for another 3 hours. I think that's kind of how it breaks up. Honestly, some classes run a little late because I have more to share with you, which is also another great thing about online classes, because we're not super strict on time. But they're a ton of fun. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Someone says the Happy Harvest was 20 pages. And so, yeah, so we've got some really great comments and questions. And one of them is, what is the date of the next release? So the next release is going to be mid-December. I believe it's December 15th. I think is the date, and that's going to be Valentine's themed. But as you guys know, our Valentine's products often work for year-round cards, and these will too. And a little hint is the critter in this set, we have never done this critter before. That's right. Right, Rebecca?
No.
We have never done this critter before. So he is a brand new critter to our Lawn Fawn critter family, and it's adorable, and the puns are so fun. I mean, it's so fun. So I think you guys are going to just love it. So we're really excited for that. And up until then, we have a lot of fun things going on. We like to come out with all of our fall and winter products at the end of August. Why? Because there's some people, unlike me, who are on top of it, and they're creating their holiday cards early. And a lot of people want their Christmas stuff as early as possible. So we release everything in August, and it's this big monster release. But what we do is we create intro videos for 3 months. So we have 3 months of inspiration, and even beyond that with this release. So we just finished up some Inspiration Week videos, and you can find those all on our YouTube channel. And then in October, Shari, Rebecca, and I will be back with intro videos for the rest of the release. Then in November, we do something called Fawny Holiday Week, which is really fun because everyone just it's so fun. People bring back really old stamp sets, or they combine really old ones with new ones. It's so fun. So many different winter, Christmas, Hanukkah, all these different types of cards. And so we'll have that in November. And then of course we'll have our Black Friday and Giving Tuesday, which you guys know. And Giving Tuesday is one of my personal favorite days of the year. So
Black Friday's a critter I don't think we've
I don't think he's great.
Oh, no, he's not.
No.
Sorry.
But yeah, so we're really excited for that as well. And then of course in December, and then after that, the next release is at the end of February. So I hope that helps you guys a little bit in kind of understanding our release schedule and why we have such a big release in August. The reason we do that is so that anybody who needs to get, as Jen says, get cracking on Christmas, they can have all of their Christmas things along with their fall and Halloween all at one time. So we're really excited for that. And thank you so much for liking the videos. Some people were mentioning that they really like that. And
thank you to those of you that are chiming in about my classes too. I really appreciate it. I always say, I can say my classes are fun, but it's always nice to hear it from those of you that are taking them.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. And thank you for talking about Jen's classes. They are the best. You have to go check them out. And we'll have Rebecca link those in there as well. And so we are excited. Someone says there are not Valentine's mice, but there are spring mice in February that you guys are going to love. It is beyond cute. And the hint is it's something that Shari will really love. So if you're a big fan of Shari and you see other crafty things that Shari likes to do, that's a little hint on what the next mice set is going to be.
I feel like that's a good scavenger hunt right there.
That's a really good scavenger hunt. And you got to go follow Shari's stories because she has some other crafty things that she likes to do. And of course, everything Shari does is beautiful. So they are just as amazing as her cards. So, and someone's asking what we do for Black Friday. For Black Friday, what we do is an exclusive little mini gift with purchase. So it'll be a brand new mini set. And I can't remember the exact dollars, but it's something like if you spend 35 or 40, you get the stamp and then a little bit more and you get the die. It's really affordable and it's a really cute little exclusive mini set, which is awesome. And then for Giving Tuesday, we do mystery boxes. And on that day, 100% of the profits go to charity. So, awesome. And last year we focused on a metastatic breast cancer organization, and we'll be doing that again this year. And so 100% of the profits. And the boxes, if it's a $50 box, you get $100 MSRP value of product in there. And mystery is part of the fun. And you're getting to donate, like I said, 100% of the profits to charity. So it's one of our favorite days, and we're excited about that too.
Oh, thank you guys. So sweet. We have the best people.
Nobody has hit on the critter that we're doing yet.
Nope.
Because there are some comments on there and nobody has gotten it.
Some fun ideas.
Yeah, there's some really good ones.
Some fun ideas, but
I don't know what that critter is. A quokka? What is that?
Google it now.
Google it.
It is if Lon Fawn could have created an actual animal, it is the quokka.
Well, then.
And sugar gliders. My brother was obsessed with those when he was younger. He wanted a sugar glider.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
She Googled it.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't even look real, right?
Like the first photo I saw. So cute. We need one of those. We need one of those.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but we still have not seen the critter guest in the comments. So I'm excited because then it's going to be a really big surprise.
Yeah, it is.
Which is I love surprises. It's always exciting.
Surprises are fun. Surprises are fun. Awesome. We have a whole set with skunks, Jackie.
We did last Valentine's with skunks, and it's actually one of my favorite sets. They are so cute. They're really, really fun to color too. And in the intro video for that, we show like 5 different ways to color in the skunks, depending on what gray markers you have. So it's got a lot of fun tips and tricks in that video.
A possum is a good guess, but that's not right. And possums could be cute. They get
they do get a bad rap, but they can be cute.
I love all the guys. People are just going.
I will say that Shari gave Miles a little possum toy, and it's really cute.
They're actually kind of creepy looking.
These are some. Oh, it'd be cute to have an ostrich. All right, I gotta stop commenting because I don't want to.
I know
people. Kelly's allowed to do things. I'm not. So
I don't think I've seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it, but I don't want to keep saying no to things.
It still hasn't come up yet. Red pandas. My son has always wanted a red panda stamp.
Kyle's they're cute. They're cute. It's definitely. It's not.
You guys are really good with your critter guesses.
I know. I feel like we now need to we have more critter ideas.
I know, there's a lot of critter options here.
A meerkat. I want meerkats.
Oh my gosh, I would love a meerkat.
Or a chinchilla.
Oh, armadillo would be cute too.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not on that one.
No, I think they're kind of cute. Someone says need more pandas. We got that request last time too. We did write that one down because I can't believe we don't really have a panda. So we definitely need that.
Snakes are out too. Nope, not gonna happen.
Hey, listen.
Both Rebecca and Mike are really scared of snakes here. So
Lawn Fun can make anything cute. So it could be a snake. So fun.
Oh, I like this, Shari. Armadillos or possums in armor.
That's true.
That's a good one. I like that.
Man, we really picked a good critter because no one said it yet.
We don't have armadillos up here, but we have a lot of possums.
Armadillos are down south, and they carry weird diseases.
We don't have armadillos here, though, huh?
No.
No.
They're very like Arkansas, that area, but they carry weird diseases.
Oh, armadillos? Yeah, for sure.
They carry leprosy.
Oh, boy. That sounds like a problem.
Yep. Like,
So just admire them from afar.
not all of them you carry, or just saying.
Oh, I agree with Joyce. We need more mermaids.
No, more mermaids?
Yep. My vote.
Actually, I have a mermaid card right here. I have this to send to
Aw,
Erica, who's one of the
so
other Lawn Fawn
sweet.
owners. But her little girl like loves magical things, unicorns,
Aw.
mermaids. And every time she's here, we have this little mermaid book and she always picks it up. So I was like, I need to send her this card.
Mermaids are real.
Yes.
Oh, yes, they
I'm
are.
looking at one right now.
Aw. Did you guys? Yeah, Shari just said somebody got it. Somebody guessed.
I wasn't saying it. I was waiting for a little couple more answers in there.
Yeah,
There's a
I
lot
love
of
that someone says that
answers.
possums eat ticks. As someone that had Lyme disease for 20 years, I appreciate the possum and their tick eating.
Yep. Possums eat lots of bugs.
But yes, the guess is in there now.
Sherry, you should send in to info@lawnfawn.com what international critters you want. We just might not know about their awesomeness.
Yeah, and if
will
you
say the quokka is on a list somewhere for
Yeah.
a critter. That is definitely on a list.
Yeah, so and definitely if you ever have a critter, like always email us at info@lawnfawn.com. You're usually chatting with Jess when you email there, but she sends us
Forwards everything.
and we add them to a list, and we have a big list of things and we kind of look through and see what's inspiring us that day, and that's how we pick. So if there's somebody that you want, but someone says, yeah, somebody did get it. Somewhere in that list there is the critter. But that's the fun part, is I can't tell you what, or it won't be a surprise. Oh my goodness.
The questions are killing me. I can't.
I know.
All right, Miss Kelly, do we have anything else we need to mention?
I don't think so. I think we've got Jen's classes, which we're going to have Rebecca link that one more time. And then, so those classes are going to be going on all throughout this next kind of month and a half. And then we'll be back with Create With Us on November 4th. And we'll definitely make sure you're signed up for all of our, make sure you're signed up for all of our different things, so newsletter, blog, etc. You'll see information as we're coming up with closer to Create With Us. Also, someone's asking about Giving Tuesday, and Giving Tuesday is the Tuesday after Black Friday. So we do like Black Friday through Cyber Monday. It's all kind of like the same thing. And then on Giving Tuesday is when we do those mixed rate bosses, where we do 100% of the profits to charity, which will be a metastatic breast cancer organization again this year. So
I think it's always the first Tuesday of December, right?
Well, it depends on the year. This year, I believe it is.
Okay.
But there are some years where
It just
Thanksgiving is
depends.
earlier
Yeah.
Gotcha.
than it. Yeah. But this is one of
Okay.
those years where it's short, where Thanksgiving is later. So then you only get 4 weeks
actually,
before
Giving
Christmas.
Tuesday is the 29th.
Oh,
So it is actually
okay.
still in November.
Yep.
Don't listen to me.
So, yeah.
Yep. And that's after U.S. Thanksgiving. I'm glad someone put that in the comments.
it is.
Yes.
So
After
Thanksgiving
U.S.
this year
Thanksgiving.
is November 24th, and Giving Tuesday is November 29th.
And if you're signed up for all of our newsletters and all of that, which you can do on our website at lawnfawn.com, you'll get the emails as soon as those things go live. Those boxes do sell out quick. So it's definitely something you want to be signed up to be notified for, or follow us on Instagram, etc., Facebook, etc., so that you get the information as soon as they're out, because they do sell out really fast.
Yay. Thank you, guys. And yes, I'll see you in Minnesota.
Yes. So Jen has a couple of in-person things. She's got her online classes, and you can check out all that information at shirkus.com. And then at lawnfawn.com, you can find our blog, all of our social media, and follow us on there, so you're always up to date with all the info.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much again. Those of you that were here from the beginning with our technical difficulties, and thank you so much for hanging out with us as much as you could today. We really appreciate it.
Yes, we really appreciate it so much. It's just always delightful to get to craft here, not only with my friends, Jen, Shari, and Rebecca, but with all of you. It's awesome. We really appreciate you guys being here. It just makes our day. I know it makes Jen's day too. We just love getting to do this. So we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Saturday, and we're thrilled, and we can't wait to see you at the next one too.
See you later, guys. Bye.